A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, these the Aces.
Tonight, an all-important bridge game takes place at the Aces' bungalow. Mr. Ace is trying to get Mr. and Mrs. Hudson in a good enough mood to buy a piece of property. Mrs. Hudson loves to win at bridge. Mr. Ace is sure they can win from him and Jane. Jane, in the meanwhile, wanting to surprise Mr. Ace with how well she plays, has made arrangements with a bridge instructor to keep calling her up while the game is in progress and tell her how to play. The scene is at the Aces, and here are Mr. Ace and Marge. Listen.
Why does she insist on playing in my den? I mean, all these years we've been playing bridge out here, and tonight she has...
why make such a fuss about that? She's fixing things up right smartly in there. Bridge tables all up, refreshments.
Oh, but what, couldn't we do it out here?
She says she doesn't want any disturbances.
Disturbances? What does that mean?
Search me, that's the word you use, disturbances.
Oh, now, is she going...
Now, all you're interested in is having the Hudsons win at bridge, aren't you?
Yes, but I mean...
Well, no doubt they will. All Jane has to do is just run true to form.
Oh, I'm not afraid of that. But what does she mean, disturbances? I don't...
Well, there's a disturbance, for instance, the phone. I'll answer it.
I hope they didn't decide not to come. It's 8:45. They ought to be
Hello?
here.
Hello? Yes, this is North 435.
Oh, was that phone for me?
I don't know. Marge is answering it.
What did you say? I can't hear you. There's someone...
I said, is that for me?
I still can't hear you.
Is that for me?
Mrs. Ace? Yes, just a minute. It's for you, Jane.
For me, huh? Well, dear, we should be playing. You said 8:30.
Well, can I help it if they're late?
But what time do you think they'll get here?
Well, they said about 8:30.
We should have been playing all this time.
Aren't you going to answer this phone?
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know just what to... Well, I better answer it, I guess.
You better answer it. What's gotten into you?
Hello? Yes, this is... Yeah. Yes, I know. Not yet. Goodbye, then.
That was short and sweet.
What was that?
Wrong number, I guess.
Wrong number. What was that not yet?
Not yet what?
You said not yet, just now on the phone. What was
Oh,
that?
I'm busy, dear. I have to finish putting out the ashtrays
And
in the
listen,
car.
why do we have to play in there? We always have our bridge games out here. Why all this...
Oh, there's so much disturbance out here.
There, that's the word. I told you.
What kind of disturbance?
Oh, any kind. I can't play my best when things are going on.
Oh, you're going to play your best tonight.
Yes, I am.
I only hope you do.
Well, I will. You'll see.
Yeah, your best will be just right.
Oh, so if I want to play my best, I'd like to play where it's nice and quiet, like in your den. Oh, well, I guess I better go and hurry fixing things up. They ought to be here now, dear. I told him 8:30.
You told who?
No, you told me 8:30, I mean. Didn't you say 8:30?
Yes, but I didn't put it in writing. What difference does it make if we start a few minutes later?
Well, I hate people that are impromptu.
Well, don't start hating these people. I've got a deal on with them, and if they want to come late, it's all right with me. The customer is always right, you know. There they are.
I'll answer it.
No, you better let me, Jane. You don't even know...
Hello?
Jane, it's not the phone, it's the door.
Hello?
Will you get her to put that phone down? I'll let them in.
Jane, it's the door. The Hudsons are here.
Oh, just a minute.
Ace will let him in. Now, calm down, Jane. Try to take it easy.
Well, good evening, folks.
Oh, hello, Mr. Ace.
How are you? Good evening, Mrs. Hudson.
Good evening.
Sorry we're a little late.
That's quite all right.
Dinner was a little late tonight.
All right. Right in here, if you please. Oh, Jane, this is Mrs. Hudson.
Oh, pleased to meet your acquaintance.
How do you do? This is Mr. Hudson.
Pleased to meet your acquaintance.
Good evening, Mrs. Ace. Oh, Miss Hale. Pet, this is Miss Hale.
How do you do?
I met Miss Hale at Mr. Ace's office the other day.
Oh, a five-handed game?
Oh, no. Miss Hale isn't playing. Just the four of us.
Oh, can I take your hat, Mrs. Hudson?
Thank you.
Oh, it's lovely.
Thank you.
I'll just throw my hat right here somewhere.
Well, it's lovely, Mr. Hudson.
Yes, that old pattern.
Well, I might as well make myself useful as well as ornamental. I'll take charge of that thing, Sam.
All right. Keep up your dear.
Yes. Mrs. Ace thought we'd be more comfortable playing in my den.
Oh, fine. All those is quite nice out here.
Yes, I like your home, Miss Dave.
Oh, but of course it's nothing like the place you're thinking of buying.
No business talk tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I guess we might as well adjourn to the gaming table.
Well, it's right through here, Mrs. Hudson.
Thank you.
I thought it would be more quiet in here.
Yes, might as well get started right away, I guess. Feel lucky tonight.
Yes, I do too.
Well, we shall see.
I hope so. Right in here.
Well, I see you have everything all set up.
All ready for action.
Yes, I thought we were going to start at 8:30.
Well, we'll make up for lost time. Shall we sit?
By all means. Just choose your places there.
These are all right here.
Fine. Jane, just sit over there.
Is everybody comfortable
Yes,
now?
everything's all right.
Oh, new card. That's good.
Yes, sir. Shall we cut for deal?
Well, you can start, Mr. Ace, if you like.
Okay.
Yes, really doesn't matter as long as we're playing a set game all evening.
Yes, we're playing a set game, all right.
Well, now, suppose you start the deal.
Okay.
Here you are, Mr. Ace. You can shuffle these while your partner deals.
All right.
Oh, I see you're already in the game.
Yes, we lost no time.
Oh, sit down, Marge.
Oh, please don't sit back of me, Miss Hale. I'm very nervous when somebody's looking over my shoulder.
Stop.
Oh, you can sit here, Miss Ace. I'm not nervous at all.
Thank you. Maybe I'd better just circulate around.
Sort of a roving kibitzer, huh?
Oh, that's the phone. I'll answer.
Oh, well, I'll go, Marge. It's for me, I guess. Excuse me, please.
Certainly.
Make us snappy, Jane, so we can start playing.
I'll be back in a jitney.
We're playing in here so that there won't be any disturbances, and the disturbances are starting already.
I hate interruptions. Takes my mind off the game.
Yes, I do too, Mrs. Hudson. Marge, why don't you make yourself monitor of disturbances so we can have a nice, quiet game?
I tried to answer that phone, but Jane
Well,
wouldn't
after this, you take care of things.
Aye, sir.
Well, as soon as she gets back, I guess we can start the first
Yes,
hand.
yes.
Well, that was quick. Who was it, Jane?
Oh, nobody. It was just, it wasn't important. Is it my bid?
No, I dealt, and I'm thinking of bidding if everybody's ready. Pick up your cards, Jane.
I am.
You play the strong note trump, Mrs. Ace.
Take one.
Yes, she plays the strong note trump. We'll all play it.
Strong note trump makes the best game.
Yes.
Your bid, Mr. Ace.
Well, I'll start the bidding off with 2 clubs.
I pass.
Well, Jane.
Just a minute now. You pass, Mrs. Hudson?
I pass.
Yeah, I bid 2 clubs, and Mrs. Hudson passed.
2 clubs, huh?
Up to you, Mrs. Ace. Mustn't hesitate. Either bid or...
Yes, Jane, either bid or...
Was that the phone?
phone.
No, there was no phone, Jane. If there is, I'll answer it.
No, if the phone rings, I'll answer it.
Please, Mrs. Ace, it's your bid. 2 clubs. I pass, and it's up to you.
Well, 2 clubs. I guess I...
Come, Mrs. Ace. What do you do?
Do you pass, Jane?
Well, I guess I might... Oh, there he is. Excuse me, please.
Well, I'll go, Jane.
No, Marge, it's for me. Let me answer it.
Oh, but Jane, I'm not playing.
I'll answer it. It'll just take a second.
Well, leave your cards here.
I'll be back in a jitney, dear.
I hate interruptions.
Yeah, so do I, Mrs. Hudson. I'm sorry. Maybe this will be the last. Marge, why don't you answer
Well,
the...
I tried.
I think she was going to pass. Shall I bid or...
Oh, I don't think she was going to pass. You play the 2 demand, don't you, Mr. Ace?
Yes, but...
Well, surely she would bid.
Well, you can't tell about her, Mrs. Hudson. I think she was saying she was passing, but...
Well, shall I bid?
Oh, I don't know. You can as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I don't think that's fair. I think the least we can do is to wait for Mrs. Ace to either bid or pass.
Well, maybe we ought to then. It doesn't really make any difference to me if you want to go on. And...
You play her hand, Miss Hale.
Once you got the cards with her.
Yes, what was that?
Maybe we'd better wait. Let's hope this is the last interruption we'll have.
Oh, it will be, Mrs. Hudson. Marge, I insist that you
I'll do
answer...
the best I can.
I bid 2 no trumps.
What?
I bid 2 no trumps. You bid 2 clubs, didn't you?
Yes, he did. But weren't you going to pass before you left the room?
Pass? When your partner bids 2 of something, you have to bid. Even if you haven't anything, you have to bid 2 no trumps just to show them you haven't anything.
Please. After all, don't you think that's giving your partner too much information?
Well, in bridge, you have to give your partner information.
Yes, but not openly like that.
Like what?
Oh, wait a minute. Where did you find out you have to... I mean, will you please play your usual game?
Oh, surprise, huh?
Surprise?
Yes, you bid 2 clubs, and I said 2 no trumps. Kind of got you, didn't I?
What are you... This is a bridge game, will you please?
Sure, it's a bridge game. And in a bridge game, when your partner bids 2 of something, 2 of anything, even clubs, You have to bid. It's a demand.
Yes. Will you please,
You can't get over it, can you?
get over it? I'm trying to get over this bid.
Oh, you will in time, I guess. Hold your cards back, dear.
What? Yes. Will you please?
Well, the first rule of bridge is not to let anybody see your hand.
Well, I got excited. I didn't. What's going on here?
Two bid is going on here. You bid two of something, and I said two no trumps. Bridge is a game of information, and I gave my partner information, which is more than some people do, if you know what I mean. Hold your cards up, dear. Everybody can see what you
I'm holding them.
Now, that's better. Now, don't forget what I did. I did two no trumps. Well, don't look so surprised, dear.
I'm not looking surprised.
Use him for a minute, Mrs. Hudson. He's so surprised he can...
Well, really, is this customary in bridge?
Customary. Not in the bridge that's played around here.
Well, I should hope not. After all, this is for money.
Oh, by the way, we didn't decide on how much we were playing for.
Oh, yes.
We usually play for a half a cent a point.
A half. Well, that's fine.
But I don't know now. If Mrs. Ace plays this way, maybe we'd better just play for a quarter.
Oh, a half is all right.
But you can lose a lot of money at a half.
Oh, we don't care. I mean, don't worry about
I
that.
think a half is all right.
Well, let's make it a quarter of a cent. How about it, Mrs. Ace?
He was surprised, wasn't he?
What?
Jane, do you want to play for a quarter or a half?
A quarter or a half?
Yes. What do you want to play for?
Oh, what do I want to play for? Well, now, let me see.
Quarter percent all right with you?
Well, I don't know. Now, let me think.
Think about what? You either want to play for a quarter or a half. What's there to think about?
Well, you have to think in bridge, dear.
When did you start thinking in... I mean, will you please make
There it is. I'll get it.
No, now, Mark.
Oh, sit down.
No, I'm
Jane.
going to answer. It's for me. Excuse me, please.
So, really, this is the most
This
exciting.
is getting a little monotonous for sure.
I assure you it won't happen again, Mr. Hudson. Marge, when she gets through, will you go in there and take the receiver off the hook?
All right, sir.
That'll put a stop to all this. Must be some of these women around here calling up about clothes, you
Yes,
know.
but in the middle of a bridge game.
I don't have that many calls a day at my office.
Well, neither do we usually. It just had to happen at a time like...
20th.
What?
20th of a cent a point. That's what I ought to play for.
20th of a cent.
Well, at a 20th, the aces can't lose much. And if Marge takes the phone off the hook, it looks like they're a cinch to lose. But we'll learn whether they do or not when next we meet the easy aces.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the time is 1965. The place, a golf course. The story, open warfare.
You wouldn't believe it, but there are some people that think that caddy is a pet name for a big car. No, I mean it. Over those little wagons you pull around the course or carrying their own clubs, there are people actually playing golf for years, never seen a caddy. As far as I'm concerned, you take the human element out of golf for any sport, and what do you got left? Nothing. I mean, you could say I'm prejudiced on account of my being a caddy, but that's the way I feel about it. Besides which, a caddy is a perfect observer of the passing parade of human experience. I'll give you for instance. Now, you take Jim Pearson. He won the U.S. Open in 1960, 61, and 64. Well, let me tell you about Jim Pearson. He was the pro at the club here, and I remember when it all started. He was out playing with Mr. Hatcher. That Sam Hatcher. He couldn't break 90 if the ball had wings. And in the locker room, he looked like a sack of flour that had been set down hard. But he was loaded with money. Anyway, they were waiting for a foursome of dames who shouldn't have been wearing slacks. When Hatcher turned to Jim, and with a real sweet smile, he lowered the boom.
Jim, you're a good golfer.
Thank you, Mr. Hatcher.
You're a good golfer, even if you can't teach me anything.
Oh, you're coming along fine, Mr. Hatcher.
We've been good to you at the country club, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
I want you to do something for me.
Yes, sir?
Stay away from my daughter.
Oh, Mr. Hatcher.
I won't have Alice marrying a man who has nothing but coordination and muscles.
What?
When I was only your age, I was making $50,000 a year. It takes brains to do that. Brains get more valuable. Muscles deteriorate. There's nothing muscles can do that a machine can't do better.
You don't think I could make $50,000?
I know you can't. You haven't got the guts.
Now, listen, Mr. Hatcher.
I'm just quoting history, Jim. Take the tournament in St. Louis. You blew up. And the Goodall and the Palm Beach. You could have won all those. But you blew. You chickened out.
That's not exactly fair, Mr. Hatcher.
But it's true.
I can make $50,000.
Yes, in your whole life.
Oh, no, in 1 year.
Oh, you can?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jim, you're a sportsman. I'll tell you what I'll do. If you can make $50,000 in 1 year at this infantile pastime that you call golf, you can have Alice.
Why, that's the most arrogant
What's
thing.
the matter, Jim? Don't you think you can do it?
I know I can do it.
All right, then. Is it a bet?
All right. All right, it's a bet.
Very well, then. I believe the ladies are finished. Shall we drive?
Naturally, old man Hatcher set a trap for him. And I guess it worked pretty good, too. Jim knew I heard the whole thing, so he used to talk it over with me. Hey, I've been doing real good this season, Mr. Pearson.
Sure. Been away on the whole circuit. I haven't seen Alice more than 1 day at a time in the last 6 months.
You, hear from Miss Hatcher?
Oh, yes. Yes, I got a telegram right after I won the first tournament. It said, and I quote, "I won't be bought and sold. Signed, Alice."
She found out about that bet, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure her father made sure she did.
Wouldn't it frost you?
It did. It cost me $5,000 in tournament money, and then I just got mad. You know, the cold mad, the kind of mad that puts 20 yards on your drive?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes when I get sore at the caddy master, I go out to the driving range. Bango! Every time you hit it, you got it right between his eyes.
Yeah, that's the idea. Every time I slam a ball down the fairway, I feel as if I've just belted Hatcher right behind the ear.
You, still figure you got a chance?
Oh, I'm going to get that $50,000 this year, all right. I'm going to win the U.S. Open, and that's worth $25,000 in cash plus vaudeville appearances or Ed Sullivan's television show or something. And I'm going to take the money and I'm going to lay it in front of Alice and I'm going to say, I wasn't buying you. I was buying the right to tell you I love you.
Ah, gee, that's pretty.
All right, never mind. Give me another 7-iron.
Jim Pearson sure was burning up the circuit. He came into the U.S. Open the man to watch. The day the tournament opened, Jimmy Cannon had in his column, "You are Jim Pearson, the hard luck boy with the velvet swing." It was real philosophical. All the sports writers picked him to win. And then Saul showed up. We was on a practice tee. Jim had been sharpening up his number 1 wood when all of a sudden the gallery took off like a batch of big birds. They were around another tee about 100 feet away. Jim knocked off and the two of us strolled over.
Hey, that's some swing. Who is that, Pete?
I never seen him before. His name's Saul.
That's some swing. Hey, he's no amateur. I've never seen him on the pro circuit.
Hey, Mr. Pearson, look at the caddy.
280 yards down there.
That ain't what I mean. Look, he's got a ball bag in his hands. Now watch.
Oh, that's a good catch. He caught that ball right in the bag.
Mr. Pearson, that caddy didn't move that sack. That ball dropped right in 280 yards away.
Oh, it's an accident.
Yeah, look, it happened again.
He's a trick shot artist. Wait till he gets into competition.
I don't know. He just hit another one, dead center.
Oh, there isn't anybody that good. Not even old Joe Kirkwood.
Quite a spectacle, eh, Jim?
Oh, hello, Hatcher.
Must be unnerving to watch something like that.
I can stand it.
But will you be able to stand it when the going gets rough? Will you blow up like you always do? It will be too bad just when you're so close.
Don't worry about me.
I'm not. I imagine Saul will take care of that.
Oh, you know him?
I brought him here. My own personal entry. He's going to beat you out of the Open. But he's got something to learn. Look at him. Just a dumb country boy who never saw a golf club till a few months ago. I think he might teach you something, Jim.
I could tell Jim was going to have a good day the minute he took his driver out of the bag. He took his practice swings, and they went around clean, grooved, and loose. I would have bet my shirt on him. As a matter of fact, I did. The crowd was sympathetic. They wanted to see him burn up the course.
Well, Pete, we all ready?
Yeah.
What's this? New kind of golf ball?
Oh, yeah, a young fella from the A.B. Wells Sporting Goods Company. He slipped me a fin to talk you into using these balls.
Well, I don't know. They any good?
Yeah, I figured. They're guaranteed to add 20 yards to every drive.
Well, I sure could use 20 yards.
Well, he's going to come around to see you later. He wanted to sign you up for testimonials and advertising and things. You know, the golf ball used by Jim Pearson when he won the U.S. Open, that kind of thing. There's a lot of dough in it.
Well, we'll give it a try. Let's tee up.
Oh, he started off real good. A long, straight drive right down the fairway. It was a birdie 4. Jim was clicking him off that day.
There you are, Pete. 34 and a 32 for 66 on the 18. 6 birdies, 12 pars.
Yeah, 3 more rounds like that should win easy. Hey, how were the new golf balls?
Huh? Oh, fine. You know, they aren't kidding. It does average out about 20 yards longer on the drive. I'll have to get a couple more dozen.
We went around to watch Jim's score being posted on the big board. Most of the field was still out, but he was ahead of the closest competitor by 3 strokes.
Who's that?
Oh, somebody coming down the 18th. It must be a hot round. Yeah, I'll be posting it in a minute.
Oh, Saul.
Hmm?
Yeah, you see, there he is, walking through the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, here comes the secretary with the score.
Oh, Mr. Pearson, look at it. 32 and 32, 64. 64, that's a new course record.
Yeah, well, it's only the first round.
New course record. Look at that. 3s and 4s, 3s and 4. He ain't over 4 for the whole day.
What's the matter, Jim? You don't look well.
1 round is not a tournament.
Well, comfort yourself while you can. Saul's just getting warmed up. He's that mythical thing, the perfect golfer. But he's dumb. No brains, Jim. No brains at all.
Naturally, in the sports broadcasts and the newspapers, Jim could have been playing on a miniature golf course at Asbury Park, New Jersey. The big news was Saul. They all called him Silent Saul. The odds the boys in the shower room played around with on Pearson took a dive, and you couldn't get even money for Saul. The next morning, Jim's gallery was pretty small. When he stepped up to the ball, there was a smattering of applause like a matinee just before they closed the show. But his drive was as straight as the day before and longer by about 20 yards on the average. Hey, that's a nice putt, Mr. Pearson.
Yeah. Who's that?
That's Saul, I'm afraid. He's coming around behind you.
Well, he's going to have a big fight.
Jim's second 9 was a duplicate of the day before. Another 32. He equaled Saul's record-tying score of yesterday. Then when we came in to read it on the big board, he looked like somebody hit him on the head with a driver.
Look at that, Pete. 31 out, 31 back for a 62. He's got me by 2 strokes today.
And 4 strokes in all. What do you got to say, Jim?
Oh, nothing, Mr. Hatcher. Throw me the soap, will you, Pete?
Yeah, sure, Mr. Pearson. Yeah.
Thanks. You know, there's something wrong, Pete.
Hmm?
Just doesn't happen this way.
That's tough luck, Mr. Pearson.
Oh, no, it's not that. People don't just pop out of nowhere and break all records at the Open. Men don't take up golf and become perfect golfers in a month. He's got to have some weakness.
Well, if he has, he ain't shown it yet.
Well, I've got to find it.
Jim was out the next morning, and he came in with a classy 32. On the back 9, he slipped a stroke to 33. He was still 4 down. He shook off a couple of reporters who were trying to egg him into a feud with this Saul, and the 2 of us just hung around in the crowd watching Silent Saul. His first drive went a clean 300 yards down the fairway, straight as a ruler.
Pete, there's something about his swing. There's something about it. I've seen it before.
Oh, you never saw that Silent Saul before, Mr. Pearson.
Still, there's something about his swing.
On the follow-up shot, Saul had about 240 to go. He took a club from his bag and took a few wiggling gestures, set his driver behind the ball, and swung.
Pete? Did you see that swing? Those wiggles?
Yeah, well, a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, but it's unnecessary. I mean, you don't have to make those wiggles before you address the ball.
Yeah, sure, and you don't have to spit 3 times every time you got a tough putt, but you do.
But there's still something strange about him. Everything about him is perfection except those wiggles. And he doesn't talk. Look at him putting. Just look at him.
Mm-hmm.
That could be Todd Winters, couldn't it?
Yeah, he does look something like Winters.
Yeah, when he puts. But that iron shot, who wiggles like that? Who does those wiggles? George Potter.
Yeah, I guess he does.
Yeah, and the approach shot, Pete. That's Gordon Brown. Nobody else bends the knee that way.
He really gave it a lot of study, huh?
And the drive. That grooved swing on the drive. Pete, come on. I've watched enough.
Pearson, a 63, I see. You're 6 strokes behind with 1 round to go. You want to give up now?
I don't think I will. I think we'd better talk about it privately.
Oh, that won't be necessary.
Well, it doesn't matter to me, but I know that Saul is a robot.
So you think he's a robot?
Isn't he?
Of course he is. How does it feel to be beaten at your own game by a mindless machine?
Oh, you haven't won yet. The golf ball takes some funny bounces.
How did you find out about Saul?
Oh, Saul is a lot of things, but none of them is Saul. He's Todd Winters, George Potter, Gordon Brown, and his drive, that's me. You copied it after me. Take us away and there's nothing left. Tell me, how'd you do it?
Money can do anything. All it needs is a purpose. We've been working on colloidal brains up at our place. Our new miniature atomic power plant is ideal. You throw in some sensory mechanisms, some relays, feed in analysis of a slow-motion pictorial study.
And you have a golf machine. Must have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Closer to $1 million.
$1 million? $1 million to keep me from winning $25,000? Don't you think that's unfair?
Unfair? You listen to me. Nothing is unfair that doesn't break the rules. And the only rule worth remembering is this, that the best man always wins.
You mean the best machine?
A machine is only an extension of a man, like your golf club. I don't happen to be endowed with golfing muscles and responses. You do. Those in your golf clubs let you hit a ball farther and straighter than anybody else. Saul lets me hit a ball farther and straighter than you do. It's as simple as that.
Oh, no, wait a minute. That wasn't the bet. The bet was that I couldn't make $50,000 in a year.
Maybe it was your bet. It wasn't mine. I bet that I could beat you at your own game. I don't think that you're good enough for Alice. You're not smart enough, not man enough. Should I let a few well-distributed, well-trained muscles blind her to what you really are?
And what's that?
You're a quitter. You can't stand pressure. You're no competitor. If you can't win at your own game, you can't win at anything else.
Suppose I win tomorrow.
6 strokes back? Playing against the perfect golfer?
Suppose.
Then I'd have to admit I was wrong. You have my word on that. And you could also have Alice, if she wants you.
Somewhere, Saul must have an Achilles heel. Pete, the prime fact about man is his adaptability.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
They've got to build in at least one constant, if not more. How about judgment?
I don't think so. I mean, they could tell whether he'd have wind or rain or sun or slow greens or something. They got to take care of that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hey, maybe you could jimmy him.
Hmm?
You know, drop sugar in his gas tank or something, smash him up.
Oh, no. That isn't fair.
Saul is fair.
Well, I mean, Mr. Hatcher, he's playing fair according to his lights. He could have had me crippled or poisoned or something, but he didn't. Well, I'll just have to beat him on our own ground on the golf course.
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Pearson. You'll have to shoot in the 50s.
Well, the golf ball takes some funny bounces.
Yeah, it sure does.
Wait a minute, there is a constant.
Hmm?
Listen, Pete, you know Saul's caddy?
Yeah, I know him. An illiterate type of guy, yeah.
Could he use $10 or maybe 20 or 50?
He's a caddy, isn't he?
All right. Pete, I want you to talk to him. You'll do better than I can.
The management of the tournament is no fool. They know which side their television rights are butted on, and they had Saul and Jim paired for the final round. Jim's drive took a tail-end hook. It dived into the rough behind a clump of trees. It wasn't a very happy start. Saul took a ball from his caddy, teed it up, and settled himself. Hey, that's some drive, Mr. Pearson.
Yeah, that was some drive. It's about 340 yards, isn't it? Some drive.
You got a tough lie there on your ball, Mr. Pearson. You going to play it safe out on the fairway?
No. You see that hole between those two trees?
Mr. Pearson, that ain't sensible golf.
Pete, Sensible golf won't win.
Well, he made it. The ball went through the opening and rolled to a stop just in front of the green. Saul's easy 4-iron shot was dead on the pin all the way. But it hit the back edge of the green and hopped into the rough. Jim took an easy putt for a birdie, and Saul's recovery was long, and 2 putts gave him a par.
Well, that's one of the strokes I need.
And that's the way it went. Jim's game sparkled, and Saul's game kept finding trouble. For the first 9, Jim came in with a scorching 30, while Saul came in with a 33. Kept on like that. Saul kept overshooting the green. They came into the 18th hole with Saul still 2 strokes up. Now, look, don't you worry, Mr. Pearson. You're going to tie him for sure.
Oh, that's no good, Pete. By tomorrow, his game will be on again perfectly.
Jim's drive sliced behind a fringe of trees. He had to shoot blind. He made it on the green, about 25 feet from the cup.
Okay, Pete. This is it. Saul's in for a 5.
Don't you worry, Mr. Pearson. Don't you worry.
Okay, I won't.
He lined it up. He studied the green. He noted the slope and the lay of the grass. And then he stroked the ball. We did it, Mr. Pearson. We did it. You're the new U.S. Open champion. Well, we finally busted loose from the television and the movies and all those hangers-on, and we ducked around the back to the pro shop, where we run into Mr. Hatcher.
How did you do it? How did you do it?
Well, Mr. Hatcher, under extremely restricted sets of circumstances, a machine is better than a man, but over the long run, over the gamut of situations, a machine doesn't have a chance. Just can't compete.
I still don't understand. It cost $1 million. $1 million.
Here, have a souvenir.
You can take this golf ball.
No. Look at it. That's the ball Saul was using.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's another brand. That isn't Saul's regular ball.
That's right. It's a new one. Guaranteed to add 20 yards to the average drive.
But that's unfair.
Well, your robot was built in with one constant. It had to be a golf ball. Well, it just couldn't adapt to a better ball.
But that's not fair. Why, that's... Well.
Uh-huh.
How about...
There are no perfect golfers, Mr. Hatcher. There are only good ones and better ones. But, well, I've been thinking about this robot of yours, and I'll be around in a few days to talk to you at your office.
Huh? About what?
Well, I'm sure you don't want to support your son-in-law for the rest of his life. And I have $50,000 to invest in business-making robots. Useful robots. And leave golf to the men. They're better competitors. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Hatcher, I've got a telephone call to make to your daughter.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features The Other Celia, a story which proves that something drastic should happen to all snoopers, but nothing as shocking and frightful as this. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Open Warfare, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by James E. Gunn and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in our cast were Jack Grimes as Pete, Larry Haynes as Jim, and Wendell Holmes as Mr. Hatcher. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Caretaker by James A. Schmitz.
Commander Lowndes?
Yes, Mr. Harris.
Astrogation reports planetary orbit secure.
What vector, Mr. Harris?
Approximately 1,000 miles above subject planet 3785.
Well, we'll have to give it a name soon, Harris.
Yes, sir. Engineering secured. Damage control parties working on the hull.
Very well. Has Martyr touched down in the scout ship?
Yes, sir. We have him on the tight beam.
Give him to me on my screen.
Yes, sir. Sparkman, put Martyr on the command screen.
Exploration ship Titan calling ship 375. Come in.
Scout 375 reporting.
What's it like down there, Martyr?
It's not much different from the scan report, sir. I'm at the head of a valley. It's green and it's scarlet. It's all swampy. And there's a big river threading through it.
Harris, get me a pinpoint on Martyr's location.
Aye, sir.
There are mountains beyond. I can see Holman's house from here. Looks like a Swiss chalet standing over the lake.
Have you made contact?
Yes, sir. Boyce is over there now.
How is he?
Well, it's hard to say.
Tell him we're recording the planet officially as Holman's planet. That might please him.
No, I don't think so, sir.
What?
Boyce suggested that during our first visit with Holman today, he wants us to record it instead as, I'll spell it. Cresgyth, Kresgith.
What's that, local?
Well, that's his phonetic interpretation of the name the people here use.
Fair enough, if that's how he wants it. Anything to add on your present report?
No, sir. I'll call you back after we've met his woman.
His wife?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad it was you and Boyce who found Holman. You're reliable men, you in particular. Martyr, I don't need to emphasize that Holman's discovery of what appears to be the first genuine human race ever encountered outside of Earth is of primary importance.
Yes, sir.
Boys might be inclined to hurry through the diplomatic overtures. You'll be careful about that part of it, Martha.
Yes, very careful, sir.
On the 2 continents we've scanned before, we've found no traces of human inhabitants, present or past.
Yes, I know, sir, but Holman's...
It's possible Holman's acquaintances are the sole survivors of humanity here. If we frighten the tribe into hiding, there may never be another contact.
Yes, I understand, sir.
Fine. Now then, what about these other creatures? What did Holman have to say about them?
Well, in the 20 years he's been marooned in this valley, he's had only 3 or 4 actual encounters with them, sir. Rather violent encounters on his side. Apparently they learned to avoid him after that. They're called Zares. He seems to have an almost psychopathic hatred for them.
That's not very surprising. We pulled up a scout drag a little while ago, bagged a couple of specimens. The description checks with Holman's description of the Zares, the worm-like, slimy, blue body with a set of arms, legs, and head. Out of the water, they seem to wear some kind of clothes, presumably to conserve body moisture.
Yes, that's what he said.
All right now, Martyr. I want you to continue according to the plan. And remember, be careful of Holman. He's been alone on this planet for 22 years. He deserves a lot from us.
Yes, sir. But he hasn't been alone. He has his wife.
Boyce, where are you?
Down here. I'm with Holman. Check in with the exploration ship?
Yes, it's all right. Holman, they say they'll name the planet the way you want it.
That's good. Celia will like that.
Celia?
My wife. I called her Celia from the start. She likes the name.
I see.
Where's she now?
Oh, she's out somewhere. She's very timid. She'll show up sometime in the night, and I'm leaving the doors open for her. I'll talk to her a little first to reassure her, and you can meet her then. Meanwhile, would you like to see her picture?
Why, you got photographs?
No, I painted it. I used to do a little bit before I went into service. It's over here. I've done about 50 or so paintings over the years. I paint a lot of them over, you know. Here. I grind my own pigments and cut brushes from the swamp grass. I'd give my arm for a good camel's hair brush. Here she is.
Beautiful.
Real good looking.
Of course, it isn't an exact likeness. I tried to capture the spirit. I think I got it pretty good.
Well, there's something about that picture sort of...
Never mind, boys. Boyce doesn't know much about art.
Yeah, but I know what I like. I like a good-looking woman. You're a lucky man, Holman.
You wanted to see the deep water well. It's right through here. Actually, it's just an opening through the concrete of the river that runs below. It's as pure as anything you could wish. If they want to refresh the water tanks of the ship...
Yes, I'll take it up with the captain. We'll be staying a week or more. We're to follow your judgment in every way in establishing contact with the Crescithians.
Good. We can't do anything till Celia comes in, and we'll have to be very tactful then. But I'm sure it won't take a week.
Well, what makes them so shy of us?
Oh, it's not you, it's me. Or it's an impression I gave them of the earth kind of human beings. Come on upstairs and I'll tell you. Cigar? It's a local swamp grass.
Is it safe?
Oh, I've been smoking them for years.
You were telling us about the native humans.
Well, I've never asked Celia much about her people. There's some kind of very strong taboo that keeps her from talking about them.
How'd you meet her?
Well, our ship crashed into the valley originally. I was the only man left in the original crew of 4. Manning went insane 2 days before we made a planetfall and killed Nichols and Dawson. And so I killed Manning before he could wreck the ship completely. Have you got a light, Marta?
Thanks, I'm all right.
You see, it was unavoidable, but they never understood it, those people of Celia's.
Well, how did they find out?
I was unconscious for about a month and completely blind for 6 months afterward.
Blind?
Well, they got me out of the wreck and nursed me back to life. But as soon as I was out of danger, only Celia would stay with me. She and I were alone for weeks before I regained my sight. How did they know I killed the others? Well, they're sensitive in a number of ways, and there were those bodies in the ship. They withdrew from me as soon as I no longer needed their help.
Then in all this time you were never able to gain their confidence?
It's not a question of confidence. It's a question of, well, I'm trying to tell you. I didn't mind being alone with Celia. You'll understand that when you see her. The others stayed in a small lake village they had a couple of miles up the valley across the swamps. Celia went up there every few days, but she never brought anyone back with her. I suspected it was simply because I was an alien. I thought they'd get over that in time. Celia seemed happy enough, so it wasn't a very acute problem.
Well, could you observe them?
Well, one day, when she'd slipped away again, I remembered a pair of field glasses I'd taken off the ship, and I got them and trained them on the village. That was a very curious experience. I never found a complete explanation for it.
Well, what happened?
Well, just for one instant, I had everything in the clearest possible focus. There were children playing on the platforms above the water, a few adults standing in the doorways of a house, and suddenly everything went blurred.
Well, something go wrong with the glasses?
No. They didn't want me to look at them. They just blurred my vision.
What do you mean?
What, you mean telepathically?
Well, I don't know. The glasses had a 4-mile range, and they were functioning perfectly. But the instant I turned them on the village, the field blurred. Well, I never felt so snubbed before.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a hint.
Well, I admit it annoyed me. The next day, I announced to Celia that I was going over to the village. Well, she made no objection, but she followed me in the distance, probably to make sure I didn't drown on the way. It's wet going around here. At last, I came over a rise and found myself 100 yards from the village on the land side, and then I realized they'd left it. I walked around it a while and found cooking fires still glowing, but nobody had waited to receive me. So I went home insulted and very sulky. I wouldn't even talk to Celia until the next morning.
Well, did you see anybody there?
Nobody. Well, I settled down and built a house for the two of us, and that took up all my time for several months. I couldn't ignore them. There was something so curiously happy and peaceful about them, even though they gave me the cold shoulder. From the one look I had of them, it showed me that they were the most beautiful people I'd ever seen. Well, you've seen the picture. It doesn't do her justice.
Boy, she must be something.
One day, when Celia was gone, I made another trip to the village, and the same thing happened.
Well, did you make any attempt to explore further?
Oh, yes. I got the little lifeboat flyer repaired enough to get it off the ground and set it down again. I had enough fuel for one 24-hour trip. I flew down the valley for almost 50 miles before I came across the first colony of the other ones, the Zares.
Is that what the people here call them?
No, Zare, that's the word for snake. I named them that.
Did they live in caves?
No, that's what fooled me. It was a village of houses just like the one here. I sat down on the lake and I saw them. They just stood there, very quietly watching me through the doors and windows. What made it worse somehow was that they wore clothes, but the clothes didn't cover enough. Those weaving, soft, blue, slimy bodies and those staring eyes. I backed down the ladder with my gun ready in case they rushed me, but they never moved.
Did you find any more of them?
There were about 8 more colonies of Zares further down the valley, but there was no trace of another tribe of humans. At the time, I didn't know just what to make of it. There was a possibility that my village represented an advanced troop of human beings into the land of snakes. But it turned out to be the other way around. It seemed to be the snakes that were pushing out the humans. So I swore to myself that as long as I lived, at least, human beings were going to hold this section of the valley undisturbed in its safety. When I came back, I said to Celia, I must speak to your people. Go tell them I'll come again tomorrow, and they mustn't run away. Well, she looked at me, and then she went in the direction of the village.
Did they wait for you?
Well, she came back late at night, crept into my arms, and told me they promised to wait for me. Oh, I set out the next morning full of great plans. After all, the Zare snakes lived in widely scattered settlements. The villagers and I could wipe out those settlements one by one until we'd cleared the land. But then I didn't realize how different Celia's people were from us.
How? What happened?
Well, I came over that rise, and there the village was. This time I knew they'd stayed home. And then, not 20 feet off my path, I saw 2 of the Zares standing in the bushes, one watching me and the other looking at the village. They were the first ones I'd seen that close, and they were horrible. They had a rapacious, greedy look. They seemed oily and unclean. Each had a kind of tricky crossbow over his shoulder, and they couldn't be seen from the village. Would you like something to drink? There's some kind of fermented homebrew I made.
No. What happened?
Well, I shot them both down before they got over the surprise. It was a natural thing to do, wasn't it?
Sure, I guess so.
But apparently, from the point of view of the villagers, it wasn't. The village was empty again. When I got back home, I was actually sick with disappointment. And then I discovered Celia was gone. She stayed away 3 days. And when she came back, I never went back to the village.
But I don't see why.
Neither did I until it was too late. They won't kill their enemies. They're too polite for that. So their enemies are gradually squeezing them out of existence.
Captain, what do you expect us to do in this situation?
Kill the Zares, as many as we can find. If the human beings of this world won't defend themselves, we'll have to defend them. I can't be on guard here forever. It's up to you and the other men on the ship to do the job right. You will, won't you? You'll make a report to Commander Lowndes?
We'll make our report.
Oh, that's fine. Well, gentlemen, I suppose it's late now. I suppose you'll want to turn in.
When will your wife get back?
Well, she'll be back later. Don't worry about her.
Are you awake?
Why, what do you want?
Listen.
What?
Somebody moving in the house. Listen.
Holman?
No. Listen to those steps. Now, hear him? That's no man. Slow, dragging.
Yeah, come on.
Wait a minute. Sidearms. Right there, come on.
Quiet, it's coming downstairs. Stop. Listen.
Wait till I get the safety catch on.
Look.
No firing unless I tell you. Look, Martyr, I'll take care of myself. Maybe it's one of those airs. I'd like to get a shot at them. Come on.
Downstairs, all right.
There's light. What's that?
A missile gun. Holman had a number of obsolete weapons down there. Hurry up.
Look out, there goes the light.
I've got my torch. It came from the well room.
Oh, it's the door. Stand back. Turn your light in there. It's Holman. They've got Holman. There it goes. Stand clear. I'll blast it.
Wait a minute.
Get out of the way. It's one of those airs. Give me a clear shot.
Hold it. Can't get out of here while we've got the well covered. Now keep your blaster ready while I look at Holman.
I hear it moving back there in the shadows.
He's dead.
Come on, make a break for it, you rotten, slimy snake. Come on.
Shot through the head with his own gun.
Who's that there, that snake?
You got a good look at it?
No, it jumped for the shadows. There it is. Marta, swing your torch around. I'll roast it with one blast.
Listen.
What?
Listen.
Who's that?
You who are his friends, will you listen to me?
Who are you?
He called me his wife.
What? How'd she get in here? If that Zare gets a hold of her...
Quiet.
Don't move.
I won't.
Why did you kill him?
But I thought you understood.
What do you mean she killed him? It was that Zare, the snake.
There are medical men who'd say he'd been insane for 20 years as he counted time. They would have forced him back into sanity. I could not bear the thought he should suffer that.
Suffer what?
Are you all fools? He was a fool, though I loved him. He could not see beyond the shape of things. So here among us, he saw shapes he could bear to see. And those moments when sanity came to him and he saw what was really there, then he killed. Are you all like that?
What's she talking about? Is the snake there with her?
Go upstairs, boys. Wait for me outside.
You're going to kill that snake?
Yes, I'll kill the snake.
All right, take my blast now. Be careful. Get between the eyes, Marta. Roast that Zare to a crisp.
Here, go on outside. Are you still there?
Yes.
Is there any way you can get out?
I can leave by the river that flows under the well if you do not shoot at me.
I won't shoot at you.
May I take his body?
Yes.
And you will all leave with your ship? I loved him, although my people thought it strange, almost beyond their tolerance. They are foolish, too, yet not as foolish as you are. They saw what was in his mind, and not beyond that. And so they were afraid of him. But he is dead now. And there is nothing that your people and mine could share. We are too different. Will you leave?
We'll leave. What did you see that was beyond his mind?
A brave spirit, though very frightened. He ventured far, far, far into the dark, of which he was afraid. I loved him for that. I am coming now. I think you had better look away.
Marta.
Yes, sir.
I've just been down to sick bay. Boyce is all right. He's in shock.
Well, I gave him a shot of sedative on my way up here.
Oh, the medics say he'll be all right. They're giving him a reconstructive psychotherapy fix. He won't remember much of it. If you had looked squarely at that thing, we might have had to give you the same treatment. Our pickled specimens of the Zare are pretty hideous.
I suppose it's all the way you look at it.
Yes, I suppose so. Holman had his own way of looking at it. Selective, hysterical blindness maintained for 22 years, with his own type of artistic hallucinations thrown in. I can't help wishing it hadn't happened to Holman.
He didn't maintain it throughout. When he was hallucinating, he saw them as beautiful. He saw her as beautiful. But when he saw them clearly, the way they really were, he killed them.
Who wouldn't? I almost feel like getting out of space and staying out for good. Well, it's time to file a report and wrap up.
What are you reporting?
That Holman died here quite peacefully about a year before we found him, leaving a diary of inspiring courage and devotion to space exploration behind him. We'll have time enough to work up the diary. That should keep everybody happy.
All secure, sir. Shall I close down the ports?
Just a minute. Marta, look down there. The whole galaxy. Do you think there actually are people out there somewhere?
I hope so.
Do you think we'll ever find them?
I don't know. They've never found us.
just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Survival Type by J.F. Bone. Score 1 or 1 million was not enough for the human race. It had to be all or nothing, with one man doing all the scoring. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Caretaker, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by James A. Schmitz and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Ted Osborne, Bill Lipton, Mason Adams, Raymond Edward Johnson, and Betty Kane. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Polio is not over yet. A total of $46,900,000 is needed to continue the fight against this crippling disease. Thousands of polio victims are depending on you. Help finish the polio fight. Join the 1957 March of Dimes. The World on a New Hotline. Listen for news on the hour and the exciting hotline service all day, every day on most of these stations.
The magic island of the South Seas lies hidden behind its mysterious bank of magnetic fog. The Gregory yacht and the Johnson rescue boat are lashed together, both held captive at Pier 5 on this weird island of Euclidia. On board the yacht, Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford are planning everything as exactly as possible. For at 8 o'clock, just after dark, they're going to try to escape from the island in Johnson's boat. Jerry and Joan are starting along the pier to the island, beginning what may prove to be a very dangerous adventure, as they will try to gain control of the radio and power chambers on the island. It is now just 6:30. 1 hour and a half before the plans must be completed.
Now you must remember, Jerry, that we are to speak of nothing out of the ordinary until we are in the sound channel.
Hey, Joan, why can't we use that sound channel elevator to go down in? You know, the one we came up in last time?
We will do so, Jerry, if we are able to get it to open for us. Remember that we must ask the control chamber for permission to enter.
Well, when those guards hear that we've got the antidote to bring those scientists out of their sleep, they'll be glad enough to let us go down in there.
But, Jerry, we haven't...
Yes, we have. You forgot it, so I brought it all right.
But, Jerry, Captain
Bradford... I know.
That...
Captain Bradford said for you to carry it, but you walked right out without it, so I stuck it in my pocket.
But, Jerry... Oh, Jerry, you stepped right on my foot.
Well, if you don't quit arguing with me, I might have to step on your neck. Now, listen. I've got the stuff Captain Bradford said would bring those Euclidean scientists back to their senses again. And don't give me any more argument.
Oh, Jerry, I begin to understand.
Oh, don't hurry. Next week will be a swell time to start understanding me.
But I did not mean to be stupid, Jerry. You need not be so angry with me. I was not trying to misunderstand you.
Maybe not, but you did just as good a job of it as if you tried to.
I am sorry, Jerry. And of course we must hurry to the laboratory. G47 will be very angry if we do not wake him and the other scientists as soon as possible.
Now you're coming alive again. Okay, here's the elevator. Recite that hocus pocus that opens it up.
Cleostra at the main elevator shaft. Cleostra at the main elevator shaft.
Maybe they won't let us go down there till we explain to them that we've got the stuff they want.
That should not be necessary. The guard must have heard us discussing it. Yes, Jerry. The elevator is opening again. The top of the shaft covering is arising from the island.
I guess you're right at that. Is this the same elevator we got stuck in when the submarine lock broke and flooded the 5th level?
Yes, Jerry. This is the same elevator.
We can sure pick the nicest places to play.
I think that will not happen again.
I think it better not.
Now the door will open, Jerry.
Now, don't recite all that to me again, Joan. The last time we were in this thing, you said the door will open again. And it didn't. Let me figure this one out for myself.
Why are you so angry with me, Jerry?
Oh, I'm not angry. I'm in a hurry. Here we go. Oh, the floor sounds the same anyway. Now I'll push this thing for the 5th level.
That is right, Jerry.
Now, and down we go. They can hear us talking in the control chamber, can't they?
Yes, Jerry. All we say can be heard.
Well, I'm glad of that. There goes the 1st level.
Yes. But why do you say you are glad we may be heard in the control chamber?
Because if anything happens to the elevator this time,
I'm going to yell until somebody comes and gets us out.
We have passed the second level.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll find all those Euclidean scientists still asleep when we get to the laboratory.
Captain Bradford said he was afraid they would be asleep for hours.
Oh, there's a third level. Yeah. Tex did act kind of worried about how long the gas would keep them asleep.
G47 will be very angry with Captain Bradford when he wakes up and thinks what the captain's formula did to him.
Well, it's his own fault. That's the fourth level. And if G47 hadn't been in such a hurry to get his hands on his formula, well, Tex would have told him to look out for that gas explosion if it didn't work just right.
He will blame the captain in some way, Jerry. I dread to think what will happen when he wakes up.
Well, I guess this is as far as we go.
Yes, the door will open automatically now.
That's what you said the last time.
But look, Jerry, it is really opening now.
Oh, that's good. I could get nervous awful easy in one of these things. Well, let's get going.
Yes, Jerry.
Now, where's that laboratory?
Right this way, Jerry.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of turned around.
Now, right in here, Jerry. Hurry inside.
Boy, you sure thought fast when you steered me in here, Joan. I pretty near forgot and went to the laboratory.
And you thought very swiftly, Jerry, up there on the surface of the island, when you spoke as if we were taking something from Captain Bradford to wake up those men in the chemical chamber.
Well, now that we're both thinking, let's get busy on why we're playing hide and seek down here. Where do you start to clear the way of the radio room?
There is a detailed chart of the island on the work table over there. I will point out the strategic points.
Okay, but let's get in some corner of the room where our voices don't sound like we're hollering down a well.
Come with me. We will find a zone of soundproofing near the chart table.
Well, our feet don't make any more noise. Hey, our voices are all right now.
Yes, Jerry. That was the end of the sound testing zone.
Swell. Now, where's this plan of the island?
Right here. Is it not beautiful?
Hey, I don't see any maps or drawings. What are you talking about?
This, Jerry. This shining cylinder is an exact replica of the island.
That thing?
Yes, of course.
Golly whiskers, Joan. Well, that looks like a big tin can, about the size of a 10-gallon can, with a cogwheel on the top of it.
Exactly, Jerry. And that is what this island looks like. That is a perfect scale model of the island.
Gee. And that cogwheel on the top is the piers.
Yes. Those arms extending from the upper rim are the piers, and those little metal projections, shaped like a falling drop of water, those are the control chambers on the surface of the island.
Boy. And all these little outline places in the sides. They show the levels, don't they? Now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the fifth level, isn't it?
Yes, and you may see the outlines of the submarine locks there. All of the submarines are at this level. They are kept here so they will still be free of the ocean floor when the island is submerged. Then the submarines may enter or leave their locks, and the surface of the island will be under 40 feet of water.
Boy, I'd like to be able to take that thing back home with me. Wouldn't I have something to show the boys and girls?
It weighs nearly 1,000 pounds, Jerry. I think you would have some trouble carrying it.
Yeah, I'd have to use both hands for that. Well, we've had enough fun. Now, where's a picture of the insides of this funny island? We've got to make our plans and move fast. Somebody's coming to investigate us if we don't hurry it up.
You may see the inside of the island with this model, Jerry.
Huh? You mean look through that steel?
No, this is not the transparent steel. This is opaque. But it opens up at the touch of a finger. So.
Well, giggling goldfish.
Jerry, you know very well that a goldfish does not giggle.
Oh, I know that. But I'll bet he would if he could see this. Look, Joan, the whole thing is opened up. Each level just slides out to the side as if there were little shells.
Is it not wonderful, Jerry?
Sure is, Joan. It's about the most wonderful thing like that I ever saw. Gee, look. Look. There's a little submarine in the locks.
And there is the chemical laboratory where the chemists are all asleep.
Oh, yeah. And we're near asleep here. Now, get your nose down close to this, Joan, and show me where every important control room on the island is.
The main radio control room, as you know, is there on the surface of the island.
Yeah, can't we do anything to that from here?
Not directly, but I will show you how we may handicap the operation of the beams later.
Never mind later. Do it now.
Very well. Now down here, in the 10th level, the last one in the island proper, are located all the tremendous turbines and motors and generators that furnish the power and light for all devices on the island.
Then that's the place we've got to hit for, right away.
No, Jerry, we must not do that. That would spoil all our plans.
Well, I don't see how. If we can get to that machinery, we can shut off their power, can't we?
We could not get into the power chambers. Even the men who work there are locked in. Then they are relieved at intervals by an armed guard who lock a new group of men in there. And anyone other than the workmen assigned to that section who even appeared on that level would be punished severely and given no chance to explain.
Gosh, that doesn't sound so good.
But we do not want to go into that section, Jerry.
No? Why don't we?
Because if we could shut off the power down there, we would never get out of the island. Every door and elevator would lock automatically and remain sealed until the repairs were completed. Have you forgotten our experience in the elevator? Were we not locked in there?
Yeah. This begins to look not so easy, Joan.
Oh, do not lose heart, Jerry. Even if we could do all that safely, we would not want to. As we must have the power in the radio chamber when we are ready to send the message to Johnson. And we would be defeating our own purpose if we cut off the power.
Well, then what can we do that's any good?
Look into that little chamber, Jerry. The solid round one directly beneath the radio chamber. Just a few feet under the surface of the island.
Yeah, I see it. What's that?
That is the main electrical dispatch room. All the power and lighting circuits on the island pass through a series of master keys and switches there. And we can nearly control the whole island if we can take over that room.
But can we take it over?
It will require courage, Jerry, and what you call a lot of luck. But I think we may hope to do it.
Well, you know your way around here and up there better than I do. What's the plan?
We must go into the radio control chamber, directly above that one, and overcome the guards. Then repeat the procedure in the room below.
How many guards?
There will be only 2 in the upper chamber, I think, and 1 in the lower.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad. They've got ray guns, I guess.
Yes, powerful ones. Not like these little ones we have, and... Oh, Jerry, I have just thought of something.
Huh? Good or bad?
Wonderful. It is in this room that the protective paint is kept. There, Jerry, in that round vat.
What do you mean, protective paint?
The paint which will protect us against the rays for our hands and face.
You mean with that paint on our hands and faces, they can't hurt us with their ray guns?
Yes, Jerry. We have on Euclidean cloth garments, and with that paint on our hands and faces, the rays will be harmless to us.
Well, then let's get into the paint, quick.
Someone is in the room.
Can they see us?
Not yet. We are hidden here.
Then work fast. Shoot your ray gun off. I'll fall like you shot me. You tell them you caught me here.
But Jerry,
Do as I say. I've got an idea. Shoot that gun so I can fall. Quick!
It is just before dark on the magic island of Euclidia. Captain Bradford and Mrs. Gregory are on the captive yacht, secretly transferring their valuables and navigation instruments to the diesel-motored cruiser which Johnson brought to the island to rescue them with. However, the boat was captured, but not Johnson, who transferred to another boat and is waiting somewhere north of the island for word from the prisoners. Jerry and Joan have gone into the lower levels of the island, trying to find a way to gain control of the Euclidean radio and power rooms. As they examine a scale model of the island in the sound channel, someone enters. Joan fires her ray gun, and Jerry falls as if the ray had put him to sleep. It is 1 minute later.
Was that the door?
Yes, Jerry. The guard is gone. You need not whisper.
Boy, was that a close call. And did you think fast when you told him you'd caught me in here and put me to sleep with a ray gun?
That was the only thing I could think of to tell him. And he knows this ray gun I have is one of the 300-second type, so he expects you to sleep for 5 minutes.
Oh, how long is it since I had to take a tumble when he came in the room?
Exactly 59 seconds from the time I fired the ray gun until you heard the door close. I was looking at my personal chronometer when a guard came in.
Oh, cut out that personal chronometer stuff. That's the wristwatch to you from now on. Personal chronometer.
Very well, Jerry. But we must hurry and do something now. We have not more than 2 minutes. Then the guard will return to take you to the confinement cells as I requested.
Yeah, and you sure fixed it fine for me. telling that mug I'd stay asleep all right until he could go and get permission about putting me in a cell.
There was nothing else to do, Jerry, and we are fortunate in being in this particular chamber.
What's so good about it?
It is the only room on the island without direct communication to the control rooms. If we had been found in any other room, the guard would have used the speaker to the control room and taken you off at once.
Well, let's get a move on, or he'll have a swell chance to catch us here and tote me off anyway. Where can we go?
We have no choice. We must use the noisy elevator we used to leave this room before.
Okay, come on. We can talk some other place. If we can find a place where they can't hear us. Hey, I don't like my voice changing like that.
It is because we are crossing another sound zone in this room, Jerry.
Well, I know why it is, but I don't have to like it, do I?
Here is the elevator, Jerry. We must hurry.
Yeah. We have to yank this door open, don't we?
You open it yourself, if that is what you mean.
Well, that's it. Here we go. Now where?
I must think a moment, Jerry.
Think fast, then. When that guy comes back and finds we're gone, he'll know this elevator's the only place we could possibly be.
That is right, Jerry. Push the indicator for the 4th level. We will go up and leave the car there. I think I know where we may find a room in which to discuss our plans further.
Here goes. Boy, they sure skipped the soundproof gag on this one.
This noisy elevator may help us a great deal, Jerry. No one can hear us talking in here, and the progress of this elevator is not recorded in the control room.
I don't mind the noise, but what if that guard has come into the room we just left? Won't he hear this thing going up?
He will know we use it even if he does not hear it.
Yeah, and if he heard that, he'll know what floor we stopped it on, too.
Get out quickly, Jerry. I will send the car on up to another level.
Okay. Boy, listen to the quiet.
You cannot listen to quiet, Jerry. Silence is complete absence of sound, and you cannot hear an absence of sound.
Golly whiskers. Here we are in the middle of this crazy island with Euclideans hunting us with ray guns, and you stop to give me a lecture on how still is quiet.
If you are not more quiet, we will soon meet those ray guns.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Joan. Well, where do we go now?
We will hardly be heard here unless someone comes this way searching for us. Now, Jerry, I think this is what we must do.
Go on.
Just around this curve in this channel is one of the tiny cubicles occupied by a guard. We must take that station over.
And the guard's got a ray gun?
Yes, Jerry. And his ray gun is not just one of these harmless, sleep-producing ones we have.
Gee whiz, Joan. How do we do it?
We will have to catch him off his guard for an instant and put him to sleep with one of our ray guns.
Yeah, but even if we get a chance to do that before he uses his gun on us, won't he have that protective paint on his hands and face so the rays won't hurt him any?
Yes, he will undoubtedly have that. But I have noticed the Euclideans many times putting the paint on. They are very careless, Jerry. They hardly ever bother to put it on the backs of their necks or behind their ears. We could easily put the guard to sleep if he would turn his back.
Yeah, and if we only had a few minutes more down in that sound room, we could have covered ourselves with that paint, and by this time that guard will be down there looking for us.
And we must hurry, Jerry. Now we will walk quietly around the first turn in this wall. Then, I have it. You will go and speak to the guard. Tell him who you are. Explain that you are looking for the laboratory to wake the scientists up with a formula Captain Bradford has given you.
Yeah? Then what?
Pretend to be very stupid, Jerry. Even more so than you seem at times.
Hey!
Then you will get the guard to come out of his little niche in the wall and turn to point the way for you. He will naturally point toward the general elevator, as none of the Euclideans ever think of using this noisy one.
Oh, hurry up, Joan. Then what?
Then he will have his back turned this way, and I shall use my 300-second ray on him. In that way, I will be sure of hitting the back of his head. And we can only hope he was careless in putting on the protective paint.
Wait a minute. How straight do those guns shoot?
You have seen them work, Jerry.
Well, I mean, how much does the beam scatter? How far do I have to be away from the guy so he won't hit me with a ray?
You may be within inches of him, Jerry. The beam will not be wider than his head, and I will not miss.
Well, if you do, don't stay there 5 minutes for me to wake up. Get yourself out of this and run for the yacht.
I will stay with you, Jerry.
Hey, listen. That elevator we just got out of, it's running again.
So it is. It is going down again. That means the guard in the sound channel has decided we came this way and will come after us.
Listen a minute, Joan. It just passed this floor going down. He'll be in it in a minute and be up here. We'd better hurry and get to this other guard.
No, wait, Jerry. We must not try that now.
Why not?
We wouldn't have time to dispose of the other guard before this one would come along and find us. And if we were seen with ray guns in our hands and the Euclidean guard on the floor in front of us, I'm afraid we might never get back to my mother's boat.
Okay, but what can we do about this fellow coming up in the elevator?
It is nearly 100 feet to the other guard. If we are very quiet, we may possibly be able to capture the one who comes out of the elevator without alarming the lookout.
Okay, we're on our way. What then?
Then we must stand on either side of the door. You over there, Jerry, and I will stand here, so. Now remember to keep as nearly flat against the wall as possible.
Okay, I'm all set. And remember about the back of his head.
The elevator is starting now.
Yeah, and he's only got one floor to come.
When you hear the magnets catch again, the car will be at this floor.
He's getting nearer now.
Have you your ray gun ready?
Yeah, if I don't get nervous and shoot myself.
Hush, Jerry. Ready.
Oh, boy. He went right on past. I thought for a minute he was coming out on this floor.
He did open the door just a crack, but I think he remembered the guard on this floor, and he knew that we could not have passed him.
Listen. There he goes. He didn't stop on the third level either.
Then we have more time than I had hoped for.
We don't need time. All we need is nerve enough to get after that guard up there.
I am not sure we need even do that, Jerry. I think I see how we may reach the power control room in comparative safety.
But I thought we didn't want to get there first.
We no longer have any choice, Jerry. They will search every inch of the upper levels for us now.
But we can't get off this level without going past that guard.
Yes, we can, Jerry.
How?
This elevator shaft.
But that guard's using the elevator. And it sounded to me like he'd stopped on the second level. So he'll be coming back and using the elevator some more when he finds out we're not on that level.
But we will not be in the elevator, Jerry.
Maybe not by the time he wants it. But he'll see it's been moved, and then we're going sure.
We will use the elevator shaft, but not the elevator.
Huh? Did you ever try using an elevator without an elevator in it? Nothing doing.
You can climb, can you not, Jerry?
Oh, sure I can climb.
Then we will climb down the side of this elevator shaft. There is a narrow steel ladder inside the shaft for emergencies.
Yeah. And when we're about halfway down, that guard takes a notion to make a quick trip to the bottom, and when the car drops, it'll knock us off the ladder like mosquitoes.
But the car will stay just where it is, Jerry. I know how to fix that. And we must go down. We can no longer go up because that guard is sure we are on the higher level.
No, you're right about that. And we'd better do something quick. It's about 7 o'clock, and we've only got until 8 to fix things so the boat can get away.
Very well, then. I will open this door. Now, if you will feel around just inside the door, on the right, you will feel a little ladder set into the wall of the shaft.
Oh, just inside here, huh? Yeah? Yeah, here it is.
You start down it at once, Jerry. I will follow you. And go quietly and fast. Do not use your flashlight. Hurry, Jerry.
Okay, Joan. Wait a minute, Joan. What's going to stop that elevator from being run down on our heads?
I'm going to tear a piece out of my dress and put it in the contact stop. Then the electrical circuit will not close, and the car cannot be operated.
Okay, but hurry up.
Yes, Jerry. Now I think I have a piece large enough. Go on down the ladder, Jerry, so I may step on it and partially close the door after me.
Going down, Joan.
Keep going, Jerry. I'm closing the door softly. So, now I will come down after you.
How far are we from the bottom of this thing?
More than 50 feet.
50 feet from the bottom? On this little steel ladder? In the dark? Aren't you afraid, Joan?
No, Jerry. If you use the ladder carefully and think about nothing except going down, it is no more dangerous at 50 feet than it would be at 5.
You may be right. Hey, we've passed the level already.
Yes, that was the 5th level where the laboratory is.
Joan, can you hear me?
Yes, Jerry.
Did you hear that? The elevator car is coming down on us.
Yes, but here's the 6th level. We will go in here and... Jerry, Oh, Jerry.
What's the matter?
I cannot open this door. We cannot get out of here, Jerry.
When a man has learned how to do something, he wants that something to be important and needed and wanted in the world. Well, progress tends to eliminate various old necessities and replace them with new ones. And sometimes people are unwilling to change. Once upon a time, there was the occupation of buggy whip maker, for example. And I wonder how many people today make their living chipping flint points for arrows. Various professions have been eliminated, and various others will be, by automation, by other forces of society. But sometimes an individual fights back, and that can cause trouble. Who's there? Who is standing there?
Excuse me, sir.
Come forward. Out of the shadow where I can see you.
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Who are you?
My name is Marooned.
I've never seen you before. What do you want?
The robot down the highway said that I would find the owner of this dome in the garden, but I couldn't hear what else it said. It's rusty.
Is it? I must see to it. Although it would really be wasted effort. You're the first visitor to this home in, must be 6 years, or perhaps it's 7.
I wanted the robot to tell me if this was the dome of Cran.
Yes, I am Cran.
Oh.
Come. Can't you see I'm wearing a very thin robe? The wind off the canals is sharp this time of evening.
Oh, please don't be angry. I need your help.
You need my help?
You are a doctor, aren't you?
What?
Are you a doctor?
My child, I am the last physician alive on all the planets of the human race. The last except for Targ, whose name you also saw on the card index. But he is senile, and he lies on his couch all day.
My sister is sick up on the mountain.
Yes, I believe I have the signal honor to be the last physician among the race of men. Poor Targ, a hopeless case. He couldn't attend the ceremony that was 10 years ago, on my 125th birthday. Very impressive.
Oh, please listen, Cran. My sister is sick.
Thousands of people, educators, dignitaries honoring me, the last of my kind. A sad thought. And it's not right. I thought it wasn't right at the time. My profession goes back to the beginnings of recorded time. And then suddenly we're no longer needed. Turned out with a medal and a statue and a thank you.
Oh, Cran, what must I do to make you understand?
Let go of my arm.
My sister is sick with some kind of disease.
It's impossible, my child.
I knew you wouldn't believe me. I just knew it.
Disease has been destroyed.
That doesn't change the fact that my sister is lying up on the mountain with her skin hot as fire 1 hour, as cold as ice the next. She trembles and she moans. Oh, Tom.
Young woman, is your sister expecting a child? If so, she should report immediately to the automation hospital. There's one down the road, staffed with the finest obstetrics.
There is no child. She's just sick.
I refuse to believe that.
Oh, all right, then. I'll go back and watch her die, then.
Wait a moment. I would help you if I could, but I haven't had a case since I was 40 years old. There's been no need.
I know all that. I went to school once.
Disease is an outmoded concept. Chemotherapeutics long ago rid the human strain of its infirmities, cleansed the planets of illness. Psychotherapeutics cleanse the minds of men. To sickness is obsolete.
And so all you care about is that my sister violates all your rules.
Perhaps it is natural death. Perhaps you should have taken her to the geriatric mortuary. We have not obliterated death, you know. And if she's quite old, perhaps it's time for her to go to the machine.
My sister is 28 years old.
Oh, I see.
How far is the city? Maybe if I go there, I can find someone who won't laugh at me.
Wait. Please, come inside.
So that you can joke with me again?
Be silent. Come inside. A little light, please. Pass your hand along the wall of the dome. There, that's better. Now sit down.
Oh, I'm going to the city. If I find someone there.
Oh, will you be silent? I'm trying to help you if I can. I don't know what I can do. It's been many years, but I'll try. Now, sit down.
All right.
How long has your sister been in this condition?
For 8 days.
What are the, I've forgotten the words. Yes, the symptoms.
Well, she's hot and cold and turned. She doesn't recognize me. Oh, she coughs and coughs.
Good heavens.
What's wrong?
It sounds like some sort of primitive illness. At the end of my practice, my last patient was a complex of neurogeriatric syndromes. I studied nothing but multiple ills. And then when the last of those were wiped out by the new drugs and the new techniques, why, I simply had to quit. But a primitive disorder.
I've bothered you for nothing.
What do you mean? I'm going to try, certainly.
What good will that do?
My child, I am a physician, and it is my duty to try. That much I remember. Come now. I think my unicar is still working. You'll have to direct me to the mountain to your sister. Really forgotten his trade. He can still feel terrible resentment.
Oh, listen, she must be in terrible pain.
God is so steep. I'm not used to such.
Nobody. It's just a little further. We're almost to the dome.
Why do you live in such desolate place?
Well, our father built his hydraulic sheds up here because he disliked the city. When he died, we had to stay here because we didn't know any other place to make a living.
We're here. Open the door quick. Put on the light.
We don't have atomics, just a small generator for electricity.
Well, that'll have to do. Now, let me have a look at her. Oh, yes, you're right. Her skin is burning.
Oh, Neela. Neela, can you hear me? I brought a physician.
It's no use. I've forgotten the simplest words. What is it? What is it? Oh, yes, now it comes back to me. She's delirious. Bring the table closer. Now, do you know how to load one of these viewers?
I'll try.
Now, set the viewer on the table. The text on the film, if I remember rightly, contains close to 1 million diagnostic patterns. Now, just get the spool under the sprockets.
Oh, I think I see how to do it.
Now, young woman. Neela, that's your name, isn't it? Open your mouth for me. Come now, open it. Yeah, that's it. Now open your eyes. And I'll have to do it myself. There. The pulse. Now, where's the pulse? The arm. Yeah, no, that's not it. Lower.
The text is on the viewer.
All right, I'll code the symptoms myself.
Do you know what's wrong? Can you help us?
To answer your first question, no, I don't know what's wrong. To answer your second, I will only know whether I can help her if the viewer finds a diagnosis for me after I code the symptoms. Now, if there is medication prescribed with the diagnosis, and if by chance I still have that medication in my kit, there might be a chance.
Why did it have to happen to her?
Why, indeed. The learned men of all planets would doubtless be curious to know the answer also. Here, let me sit that down at the view. Let's see. First symptom, fever. Second symptom, inflammation of the throat cavity. Third symptom, advanced olfactory congestion. In a moment, we should have the answer, if there is one contained in this text. This last key. There. Great heavens! John, can't you see the card from the last appendix of the text? Antique maladies. Let's see what it says. Yes. All the symptoms are exact. The cause is a virus. There's the code name right there. The proper agent, let's see. At the bottom of the card, chemotherapeutic number 411009. Open the kit quickly.
What was the nominality? 4110. Oh, yes. In here, 009.
Plug them to the tablets. Give them to your sister.
Neela, please do as I ask. You open your mouth. That's right. Now take these tablets. Oh, that's right. right. And swallow. All right, fine, Neil. And now you rest, dear. And you'll be better soon.
Please stand aside.
What are you going to do with that?
This hypodermic, I want a sample of your sister's body fluid.
What for?
Give me a quantity of the virus to enable me to duplicate the virus in my own laboratory.
What's wrong with you? Oh, your face, it looks so different now.
Viruses were virtually destroyed a long time ago, but perhaps immunity has weakened in 300 years. Perhaps if the cause were there again and the immunity was not...
Don't you touch her with that needle!
Please stand back, my child. I have helped your sister. A small quantity of blood in return is a fair exchange. It's not right that we should be dismissed with a medal and a statue. It's not fair. I'll make myself the scapegoat if necessary. Take the blame for spreading the disease. That's all right. I am an old man. But I have made it possible for others after me to practice medicine once more. The virus may mutate, there may be strains, immunity may be gone. Stand back, a few cc's of fluid in this little chamber, and there'll be disease again, and physicians to heal.
You get away from us!
Get back, I warn you, if I must use violence, I can still find strength.
Stay away! Stay away!
You punch me to this! When a man is retired from his business, it's one thing to know that the business is still going on, that the business itself has not been retired. But somehow, it's a much deeper hurt to have the business itself cease to exist. If only that business hadn't stopped, that he could feel that something of his business was going on. I think that's what's bothering the ex-doctor. You?
My sister died during the night.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry at all.
You must understand. I couldn't stay with you. I left you there unconscious. I knew you'd come around soon enough.
But my sister died.
I did what I could. I gave the prescribed medication. It's lucky I had some of it at all. The virus must have been too strong. The immunity factor down to nil.
That's why I came. To ask whether I will contact the disease.
It's possible.
And could pass it on to others.
I wouldn't allow myself over that. I'd be making my own plans.
And that's why you took the blood?
Of course.
Do you think that this particular virus is widespread?
I am sure it isn't. This one case must be pure accident. I told you that the virus, as a cause of infection, like all causes of physical and mental illness, was totally counteracted years ago. And that's why I was given the medal and the statue, because they didn't need me or my kind. But they will again, and soon.
Oh, I've never had much education, but this idea of yours, it just isn't decent.
Oh, no?
You'd bring sickness to people just to carry on a tradition.
Not a tradition. The noblest tradition in the history of the human race. A tradition of comfort, of healing, of leading sick minds and bodies back to health.
But that was accomplished years ago, you said so yourself.
Yes, but it's not right, that's all. Not when so much has been given and sacrificed for the good of mankind.
What you plan to do is not for the good of mankind.
I won't listen to you anymore.
What you plan to do violates everything that's right. A doctor is supposed to heal, to cure.
I didn't do so very well with your sister, did I?
For that I can forgive you. You said yourself it was a rare case. Perhaps it will strike me and I will die. And then it will never happen again. But to set out to create disease...
Get out of this laboratory, you little rat.
Before other doctors and look them in the face and say, I'm doing this for you, making others ill so that you can be doctors again.
There are no doctors except Targ, and he's senile. I am the last.
And you are very old and something's happened to your mind.
I warn you, leave this stone immediately.
Not before I destroy whatever you took from my sister.
You see this? A laboratory torch. See the blue flame? It burns. We'll burn you if you come a step close.
Just destroy what you took from my sister, that's all I ask.
Not a step nearer.
If you don't, I'll destroy you and myself and this whole place.
You're a fool.
I know it. And I'm not very old or well educated, but I may be a better physician than you are.
I told you to stand back. I'll burn you.
Is that it, the large flask?
Don't touch it.
Watch out, old man. Your bones move slowly.
Let go. Let go.
There, see it fall, old man.
I'll kill you. I'll blast you with the torch.
You missed me.
Stand still. Stand still.
You set fire to the wall.
Come back. Don't hide that way. Come out from behind there.
Now there's no chance for you to create the new diseases.
Now, which way? Flame, block me. You're directing. It's not right. I am the last doctor. The petition must be carried on. They gave me a medal, a statue. It's not right. It's not right. Not right. You know, if you're looking for a more secure and stable world in the future, I'm afraid you're in for unhappiness and disappointment. The world of the future is going to obey the ancient law. Change. Learn. Find a new and better way. Because the old way always turns out to be a little inadequate. There is nothing that's perfect. Let's go to work and find a better one. It's the whole point of progress. Do a better job than we've ever done before. And you know, when an occupation, when a profession, when a tradition dies, it served a purpose. The purpose does not die. That goes on. And that's what the old doctor didn't recognize. The purpose was to serve human life. And that went on. And always will.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman. And today, as the people of Illyria gaze in awestruck wonder at the Man of Steel's amazing defense of their city, Jimmy Olsen is in grave danger. We'll learn more about it in a moment. But right now, let's see what Dan McCullough's pal Eddie has on his mind. He looks pretty concerned about something.
Hey, Dan. Dan McCullough.
Yeah, hello there, Eddie. What's on your mind?
Hiya, Danny. Hey, look, see this model plane I just got out of the Kellogg's Pep package?
Yeah?
It's a B-24 Liberator. Do you know anything else about it besides the stuff that's printed on the back?
Well, let's see now. You know where it got its name, don't you?
Well, no. How?
Well, the B-24 was flown in Europe a lot under the RAF, and they call it the Liberator. It's one of our largest long-range heavy-duty bombers.
Well, yeah, I know. It says here that its cruising range is over 4,000 miles. Oh, golly, that's about as far as from Europe to America, isn't it?
It's farther, Eddie. You could probably fly non-stop from London to Chicago in a Liberator.
Golly, what a terrific plane. Well, thanks a lot for telling me about it, Dan. I think I better collect all the information I can find about it.
Well, gang, naturally Eddie's mighty excited about getting a model of a Liberator bomber so soon. And say, that reminds me, how are you coming with your own collections of Pep plane models? Remember, you'll find one right inside every single package of that super delicious breakfast cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Now, it's made of colored cardboard, and it's just as easy as pie to put together. What's more, there are 14 grand models you can get. 4 British, 2 Russian, and 8 American ones. And best of all, gang, you don't have to send in a single penny for them. Not even a box stop. There's a model right inside every Pep package. So be sure your mother gets you a package of those golden, delicious whole wheat flakes tomorrow. And remember the name, Pep. P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek.
And now the adventures of Superman. Yesterday, as you remember, Superman single-handed met the Japanese invaders at the gates of Illyria, determined to wipe them out. The troubled people gathered to watch the battle, and looking on, learned that a ruthless enemy must be met with ruthless force. But meanwhile, within the city itself, Saki and his henchmen resolved that if they could not conquer Illyria, they would destroy it. And so they started to set fire to the houses, the public buildings, and the museums, beginning with Saki's own palace. This furious blaze was the first to meet the startled eyes of Jimmy Olsen, Rev Peyton, and Herkimer as they entered the city in search of Clark Kent.
Look over there.
It's the house of Saki in flames.
Who could have done this? Surely none of the enemy had entered these walls while Superman standeth without.
Saki himself must have committed this lowest of crimes.
But I don't see Mr. Kent. I don't see him any place at all.
Mayhap he too is without the walls.
No, he said he was coming back here to see Saki. Sleeping lizards. He must be in that burning house. I'm going after him.
Wait, James. It is too dangerous.
It will do me no good to take senseless hurt.
I'm not going to wait not another minute.
Rash youth.
Oh, Jimmy, thou must stop him.
It is useless. Thou perceivest he heedeth not my warning. His friend is in danger, and
Look, he enters the blazing building even now.
May the heavens watch over him. Hark, the sound of battle hath died down.
So it has. Superman has indeed subdued the attacking foe.
Superman, he cometh nigh.
Verily, the courageous one looketh spent and worn.
Hello, Rev Peyton. Herkimer. Well, I guess they're all taken care of now.
Superman,
What's the matter? I expected you to be pleased, but instead you look worried.
This is threatening James. We are concerned for him.
That's right. Where is Jimmy?
He is seeking his friend, Mr. Kent.
Kent?
And despite all our warnings, he ran even now into yon blazing house.
What? Into that inferno? Great Scott, I've got to go after him. This is more of Saki's doing. He'll pay for this and pay well. Here we are. Okay, into the house now. Wow, smoke is thick. Jim! Jim, where are you? Jim, answer me! Oh, that roof is starting to collapse. I've got to find that boy. Poor kid, he came in to save me. Jim! Jim, do you hear me? Well, there goes that. Wasn't out in the front part, and if I know Jimmy Olsen, he doesn't give up easily. Jim! Answer me, Jim! Wait a minute. I heard something. Yeah. Over towards the right. Jim, under a fallen beam. Up with that. Okay, Jim, you're all right now. Wait a minute. There, I've got Jim. That beam just pinned him down. I think all he needs now is some fresh air. Get out to the front of this building. There we are at the door. Take him out of this smoke in a hurry. Up and away! Jim. There, he's coming to now. I'll just circle around up here. Okay, Jim. Come on now, open your eyes.
Ethan, listen. Where am I?
You're with me, Jim.
With you. Oh, Superman.
That's right. Now, breathe deeply. Get all that smoke out of your lungs.
I'm all right now.
I hope so. Don't you know enough not to run into burning buildings? I got to you just in time.
Yeah, but Mr. Kent... I didn't find Mr. Kent.
He's okay. You don't have to worry about him.
Oh, are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Well, all right, if you say so, Superman. Gee, I feel like a 10-ton truck's been lifted off my chest.
Well, you ought to be glad you do. That means your lungs are clear. But you better keep on taking deep breaths anyway. That's it.
Oh, I'm fine. Really, I am.
Sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, shall we go down then?
You bet. We've got to see what happened to the rest of Illyria.
Okay, hang on. Down we go. Down!
Hey, look, Superman. All of it's burning. The whole city.
Yes, Saki did that part of his job well.
Oh, but you took care of the Japs that were trying to get in, didn't you?
I don't think they'll bother anyone again.
Yeah. I saw you slugging it out with them. Gee, that was something.
No more than they deserved. All right, hold on, Jim. We're about to land.
Okay.
There we are. Oh, look. Rev Peyton and Herkimer running toward us. Let's go and meet them.
Sure thing. Rep Peyton?
So indeed, James. I was frightened, wasn't I?
Oh, it was nothing. I'm fine.
I am glad I am for that.
It was a brave thing to do, lad, but foolhardy.
Well, it's all over and done with now. No sense talking about it anymore. Hey, Jim?
Sure.
Thou dost not welcome this discussion of brave deeds, Superman? Perhaps then thou wouldst take it amiss were I to thank thee in the name of Illyria for saving us from the invader.
Well, I'm glad I could help. But you know, back home, we've learned that it's our business to worry about our friends as well as about ourselves.
We in Illyria understand that, too. Now that we have seen again that freedom must be fought for. Look how the people swarm now from the gate. Wonder and fury still in their faces.
But now, for the first time, they will realize their country is in flames.
Let's get to work and start putting the fires out.
Nay, Superman. From the bottom of my heart, I thank thee. But the homes of my people are already too far gone even for thee to save. Whatever there is to salvage, they must start to do it themselves.
I understand, Hercamine. You're a wise man.
Even as we stand here, house after house goes up in smoke and fire.
Yeah, look at that one there. Hey, that's your house, isn't it, Hercamine?
Aye, my son. That is the house where I have spent my life.
Oh, well, let's do something. Superman.
I will, Hercamine, if you say the word.
I thank thee again, Superman. But now I must talk to my people. Hearken to me, people of Illyria. Gather ye water and sand quickly, and put the flames to rest. They are your homes to be fought for and saved by you alone. Go now and do as I bid ye.
I heard me. I should have hearkened to thy words of wisdom long ere this.
It's not too late now.
Verily, it's never too late for life to go forward.
Come then, let us hasten to our work.
And so, even in the face of tragedy, courage and the hope for life surge up in the hearts of Illyria's people. Confronted with a ruined city, they do not surrender themselves to despair, because on this day they witnessed a sight which gave them new courage and new life. The invader has been repulsed. Now they fight to save what they can of their homes. We'll return in a moment to learn more. But first, here's a question for you.
Say, gang, have any of you gotten duplicate plane models and packages of Kellogg's Pep recently? Well, don't forget that you can always trade with somebody else, so that if you get two models of one particular plane, you can exchange the extra model for one you haven't got. Remember, there are 14 different plane models you can get altogether. 4 British ones, 2 Russian, and 8 American. So if you've been a regular Pep eater, you ought to have a pretty good collection started. And remember, too, that you don't have to send in a single penny for any of these planes, not even a box top. There's a colored cardboard model right inside every single package of those golden, delicious whole wheat flakes. So, gang, be sure your mother puts Pep on her shopping list. And don't forget that name, Pep, P-E-P. Pep, the super delicious breakfast cereal, is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Together with Hercamine and Rep Peyton, Superman and Jimmy Olsen watch as the houses and buildings of Illyria leap into flames. But Hercamine insists that this time his people must themselves fight for their homes. As we rejoin them now, the people of Illyria and Superman are engaged in the heroic task of putting out the leaping flames and salvaging what little they can from Saki's tour of destruction. Listen.
See, Hercamine, Illyria burns no longer. Our people did well.
Aye, 'twas well done, but late. Too late.
Yeah, but it's not too late to get the guy who did this to you.
Nay, it is not too late for that. Saki! The cruel and treacherous Saki! Find him! Find him!
Saki! Saki, there! He runs toward the gate!
Well, after him. Don't let him get away.
The people are around.
That's not so good. They might get out of hand.
Gee, they look like they're ready to burn him in oil.
I have never seen our people so overwrought.
Shall we follow them?
I'd like to get to Saki first. I've got something to settle with him.
But they caught him. Look, Superman, they've caught him. And the 2 guards with him.
Now they move towards the square. Let us hasten there.
Saki trembles. He fears the people's wrath.
Well, he's sure got something to be afraid of. They're not kidding now.
But this is not the way. There are other means of dealing with traitors and war criminals.
Hey, look what they're doing.
By leading him to the very scaffold whereon I stood only a few hours before.
No, Hercamine?
Yes, Saki built that scaffold to hang Hercamine.
Boy, oh boy, some twist. And now they've got him there.
Hang him!
Sent to the plate of sake. We have laid Illyria awake.
Superman, this is not good either.
No, Hercules. You stay here with Red Peyton and Jimmy.
Well, what are you going to do, Superman?
You'll see, Jim. I better handle this in my own way. Now, right over the heads of that crowd to the scaffold. Away! Nay, him thou must not bless you. People of Illyria, listen to me. Nay, we will not listen. The wicked must be punished. Sake must die. No, don't. You'll thank me for this later, but now I must take matters into my own hands. He releases the evil one. He'll remove the noose from around his neck. Stop him! Puzzled and angered by Superman's actions, the crowd surges forward. Why has he suddenly turned against them and befriended the evil Saki, saving him from certain death? Tomorrow, the people of Illyria will learn how Superman lives by his code of strength, courage, and justice. So don't miss the final thrilling episode in this exciting series. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Follow The Adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station. By the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, and today as Clark Kent, he is due for a big surprise. We'll join him with Editor Perry White in a moment. But right now, Dan McCullough has a question for you.
That's right, gang. Today I've got a question for you. It's a technical question, so let's see what you can do with it. Which plane has 4 engines? The Douglas C-54 Army Transport or the Vought Excalibur Navy Transport? Well, actually, that's a trick question because both are 4-engine planes. But I'm sure it didn't stump you, especially if you've been lucky enough to get models of both these planes in Kellogg's Pep packages. Because that sort of information is printed right on the back of each model. You see, there's a really keen colored cardboard plane model right inside every single package of that super delicious breakfast cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Now, there are 14 different models you can get altogether, and on the back of each model is a list of valuable pointers about that particular plane. 2 of the models you can get are the Douglas C-54 and the Vought Excalibur, which I mentioned earlier, and others are the Russian 118, the British Sunderland Flying Boat, the British Handley Page Hampden, and the Curtiss Helldiver. Best of all, gang, you don't have to send in a single penny for any of these planes, not even a buck stop. There's a plane right inside every single Pep package. So, gang, be sure your mother gets you a package of those golden, delicious whole wheat flakes tomorrow. And remember the name, Pep, P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek.
And now the adventures of Superman. As an aid to our war effort, Poco, the little man who came from the planet Utopia, has been trying to remember the formula for the secret fuel which powered his space shell. He and Jimmy Olsen were studying the shell in Editor Perry White's garage when 2 armed men appeared. Certain that the men were dangerous spies, Poco rushed Jimmy into the space shell, then climbed in after him and bolted the turret hatch. Meanwhile, driving to the Daily Planet with Clark Kent, Perry White became uneasy at having left Jimmy with Poco, whom he believed was out of his mind. The gray-haired editor insisted on returning to his house with Kent. And as we continue now, having found the house empty, they are walking up the driveway to the garage. Listen.
Olsen! Poco! Now, where do you suppose they are, Kent?
No, you left them there in your garage. Let's look inside.
Where are you, Olsen? Poco!
No, they're not in the garage, Kent.
No, but maybe
They're not in the house either.
No, but they might have gone to the drugstore for sodas. Poco's crazy about sodas.
You mean he's crazy, period?
Oh, gee.
Oh, I don't like it. We shouldn't have left him alone with Jim.
Stop worrying. Poco's perfectly harmless.
I don't know. Lots of dangerous maniacs look harmless.
Poco isn't a maniac.
That's what
And
you
he's
think.
very fond of Jim. Sure, he'll tell him why he's been acting so strangely, and it'll all turn out to be nothing but... Say, look, Chief.
What?
The space shuttle.
Well, what about it?
It's gone.
Good Godfrey, it is gone.
It's standing right here.
Sure it was. Well, where?
Where did it go?
I don't know. A great big glass ball like that.
Glass plastic.
It weighed a ton. You couldn't move it. Great Jupiter, Ken.
Take it easy.
Poco's been fooling around that thing all week since the Army Air Force returned it to him.
No.
And maybe he and Jim flew up in it.
Oh, nonsense.
They'll kill themselves. I told you Poco was crazy. Can't. Don't just stand there.
What'll I do?
Oh, I don't know, but do something. Call the Air Force and have them start looking for Jim. Call Inspector Henderson. Call anybody.
Turn on, Chief. Jim and Poco didn't fly away in the space shuttle.
No, they must have. Didn't we leave them right here with the contraption? Not more than half an hour ago?
Yes.
Then they must have flown off in it. What? I tell you, it weighed a ton. Maybe more. They couldn't have moved it away.
I know, but they couldn't fly it away either.
Well, why couldn't they?
Because the secret fuel that makes the shell fly through space is unknown. The formula was known only on the planet Utopia, and it was lost when the planet was destroyed.
No, Utopia again.
Well,
at a time like this, when Jim and Poco are in terrible danger, you've got to be funny.
I'm not being funny.
I'll say you're not.
Listen, the fact remains that the Army Air Force and many of our foremost scientists tried to discover the secret fuel for Poco's space shell, and they couldn't do it. You can stop worrying about Jim and Poco flying through space.
Then where's the shell?
I don't know.
And where's Jim and Poco?
I don't know that either, but... Wait a minute. Someone's coming up the driveway.
Where? Oh, that's Swanson.
Who?
He takes care of the Hubbard place next door. Say, maybe he saw... Come on, let's ask him.
Okay.
Swanson.
Hello, Mr. White. You moved.
Oh, what are you talking about? Listen, did you see...
Moving van here. He think maybe you move away.
Moving van?
You bet. He come to tell Poco he don't forget to give me back snow shovel he borrowed last week.
Now, wait a minute.
Hey, a moving van was here, Mr. Swanson?
That's right. Just a little while ago. Don't you know?
Of course I don't. What was the moving van doing here?
He only see you drive away from garage.
From this garage?
When they come back from hardware store. They see big glass ball is gone from garage then.
Oh, so that's how the space shell disappeared.
Someone took it away in the moving van. But who?
Something is wrong, Mr. White.
Oh, I don't know. I think so. Now, Swanson, when you saw the moving van, did you see Jim Olsen and Poco?
No, I don't see them.
No, that's funny.
Wait a minute. Maybe Swanson doesn't know Jim.
Sure, I know Jim Olsen.
Oh, you do?
But I don't see him here. I look for Poco to get my snow shovel back. I look out here and ring bell in your house. Then just now I hear somebody here and they come look for Poco again.
What do you make of this, Kent?
Can't figure it out. Mr. Swanson, you say you just came from the hardware store?
Yeah, Martin's hardware store.
Martin's. That's right next to the drugstore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what are you driving at,
Just a
Kent?
minute, Chief. You didn't happen to look into the drugstore, did you, Swanson?
Yeah, I stopped in drugstore to buy pipe tobacco.
And Poco and Jim weren't there?
No.
No, something terrible's happened to them.
Not necessarily.
Then where are they?
Well...
And where's that confounded space shell? Who took it away in the moving van?
We'll find out. Mr. Swanson, did you happen to notice the name on the moving van?
That's right. Did you, Swanson?
No, I don't see name.
Oh, doggone it, why didn't you?
Because he didn't, that's why. Come along, Chief.
Come along where?
Into your house. Thanks very much, Mr. Swanson.
You're welcome. Take me snow shovel now, please. Yeah?
Sure. Go ahead, Swanson, and thanks.
You're welcome.
We'd better call the police at once, Kent.
I want to call the office first.
The office?
Yes, Jim and Poco might have gone there. Jim was afraid you were going to have Poco committed to an insane asylum.
And that's what I should have done in the first place.
Chief.
He's got Jim in trouble, Kent. Now, mark my words.
You've got no reason to say that.
I can feel it in my bones. Oh, here. We'll go in the back way. Oh, why did I have to listen to you and Lois? I should never have hired Poco.
Uneasy, but not yet fully alarmed, Clark Kent follows Perry White into the house. But meanwhile, several miles away in an ancient weather-beaten barn on an abandoned farm, a strange scene is taking place. Poco's round, transparent space shell, in which the little fat rhymester and Jimmy Olsen have locked themselves, has been taken from the moving van and set on the ground. As three men stand by outside the shell, scowling, their leader, heavy-set and swarthy, shouts at Jimmy and Poco through the smooth plastic wall of the shell.
I'm asking you for the last time. Are you going to come out by yourselves, or do we blast you out?
What do you think we ought to do, Poco? Nothing, friend James. But they're getting madder every minute. If we wait till they pull us out...
They can't pull us out.
Of that, have no doubt.
Well, how about it?
I don't like that fellow's looks. What do you mean they can't pull us out?
I mean what I say. Let them bellow away.
But I...
You don't want us to get rough, do you? Now, all we want is to have a talk with a little fat fella.
What do you want? I know well. The secret fuel to power this shell.
What'd you say that for, Poco? Now he'll think you do have the formula.
You bet that's what we want. And they're going to give it to us.
Poco doesn't know the formula.
Oh, he knows it all right. I heard him tell it to you, he did.
Did I not say so, friend James? The ugly dark one is he who spied on me in Mr. White's garage.
Make up your minds now. Do you come out by yourselves, or do we get you up?
But I tell you, Poco doesn't know the formula.
Oh, you want to play like that, huh? Okay, Hank. Go to work.
Uh-oh. One of them's got a hammer and chisel. He's going to force the hatch open.
Have no fear. We're safe in here.
If he gets the hatch open...
He can twist, he can turn, he can hammer, he can burn.
Oh, will you please stop rhyming and tell me what you mean in plain language, Poco?
As you say, okay. The material of which this space shell is made is another utopian secret. It cannot be shattered or cut through or even dented by any tool known to man.
Are you kidding?
Friend James, in sooth, I speak the truth.
Golly, I can't believe it.
Then look.
Look at what?
The man with the hammer and chisel.
Oh, he's given up. His chisel is all chipped. Look out, Poco.
What is it?
The dark man, the boss. He's pointing a gun at us.
Have no fear.
Hey, don't shoot. Don't.
You gonna come out?
Yes. Poco, open the hatch.
Friend James, keep cool. Do not be a fool.
But he's got a gun.
As you say, so what?
Now listen, Poco,
See, friend Jim, I laugh at him.
All right, wise guy. You asked for it.
Well, friend James?
Oh, jeepers. The bullets bounce right off the shell.
Of course they do. Did I not speak true?
You sure did. Oh, boy, are they sore. Look at them wave their hands.
Let them wave, let them rave.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
The dark man is telling them something. They're all starting to laugh now. And there goes one of them. He's taking something out of that box, see? I wonder what they're up to now, Poco.
Nervously, Jimmy Olsen watches the men outside the space shell. We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. But first, let's hear from your friend and mine.
Say, gang, do you usually get right up when your mother calls you in the morning? Or do you kind of stall around and wait till the very last minute? Well, no matter what your method is, I'm willing to bet that you come a-running when you know there's super delicious Kellogg's Pep waiting for you. Yes, sir, those crisp golden whole wheat flakes taste so doggone good at breakfast time that just thinking about them makes you hungry. And you know, that's a good idea, too, because Pep is mighty good for you as well as downright delicious. But that's only half the Pep story. There's an exciting prize right inside every single Pep package. It's a colored cardboard model of an Allied warplane that's all ready for you to put together. Now, there are 14 different plane models you can get altogether. 4 British, 2 Russian, and 8 American. Best of all, gang, you don't have to send in a single penny for any of these models, not even a box top. There's a plane inside every Pep package. So be sure your mother gets you a package of super delicious Pep tomorrow. And remember the name, Pep, P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Having locked themselves in Poco's space shell, Jimmy Olsen and the little rhymester are apparently safe from all efforts of their mysterious captors to dislodge them. But then, in the old barn where the men brought the shell, Jimmy was alarmed to see a gallon can and a hose set up outside the shell.
What do you suppose they're up to now, Poco?
Again, I tell you, have no fear. We're absolutely safe in here.
I don't know. Say, they're connecting a rubber hose from that can to the rocket tubes under our shell.
So I see. What can this be?
Maybe they're going to blow us up.
It can't be done.
Not even with dynamite or TNT?
With nothing, friend James.
I wish I could believe that.
All right, you in there. This is your last chance. You can open that hatch and come out?
Gosh, I don't know what to do.
Do as I say. Remain this way.
But...
Well, you're coming out alive or dead?
Oh, you hear that, Poco?
We must stay in the shell. All will be well.
Yeah, I guess so. No, we're not coming out.
Okay, Hank. Let them have it.
Poco, what's that hissing and that funny odor?
Alas, it is gas.
Oh, you're right. It is gas. They're pumping it into the shelf with a rocket tube. What are we going to do now, Poco?
I'm afraid, my friend, this is the end.
Fearfully, Jimmy Olsen and Poco stare at each other as the deadly gas hisses into the transparent space shell. What will happen now? Don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode in our new adventure of the space shell. Tune in, same time, same station, and thrill to the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. This is Mutual.
Attention, all spacemen! Attention, all spacemen! Stand by for an important announcement in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And now, Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Corbett, Space Cadet. Far above the surface of Object Delport, a strange planet outside our solar system, a jet boat from the rocket cruiser Polaris knifes through the thin upper atmosphere. While Space Cadet Astro handles the controls, Tom Corbett studies the instrument panel. And as time passes, his expression shows increasing tension and anxiety.
Picked up any sign of the supply drone yet, Tom? Not a thing, Astro, and I can't understand it. It was due to pass this point over 10 minutes ago.
That's the trouble with those drones. Robot equipment may be all right, but I like my supply rockets with real live crews aboard.
There's nothing wrong with drones. They're equipped with the most modern instruments in the universe.
Blame it on this weird planet, then. Don't forget, Tom, 4 expeditions were sent to Object Delport before us, and not one of them was ever heard from again.
That'll be our story, too, if we don't contact the supply drone, and soon.
Hey, we really that low on food and water?
Afraid so. I doubt if there's enough at the base to last another day. Hey, take a look at this scanner, Astro.
The drone?
Nope, that star.
Unless it's edible, I'm not... Uh-oh. You mean that big bright fellow over in the second quadrant?
Yes. What does it look like to you?
Unless I'm space happy, it's a nova.
My idea exactly. An exploding star, and by Jupiter, that spells trouble.
Base calling Jet 1. Base calling Jet 1.
There's Captain Strong. Answer him, Tom.
Right. Jet 1 to base. Corbett here.
What's the matter, Corbett? I can't see you on my viewer.
Your image is blurred here, too, sir. There's some kind of interference.
Corbett, have you made contact with the drone yet?
Well, no, sir. I've got the radar set for maximum search radius, but we haven't picked up a thing.
We've missed contact, then.
Missed contact? Well, that's impossible, sir. The instruments on those drones are foolproof.
They're not Nova-proof, though.
How do you mean, sir?
Haven't you picked up that Nova flare?
Spotted it on my scanner just a minute ago.
Well, that's what's making the mischief. Tell me, Corbett, have you observed any radiation effects in your altitude?
There's an image blur on the receiver. That could be from radiation.
There's no doubt about it. You and Astro had better get back to base immediately.
But, sir, the supply drone.
It's lost. And for good, I'm afraid.
Well, maybe if we search just a little longer.
No use, Corbett. Get that jet back here while you're still in one piece.
Polaris on planet Delport, calling Advanced Base Omega. Come in, please.
This is Captain Strong on the Polaris. Emergency. Can you read us, Omega?
That static's getting worse by the minute, Captain Strong.
You're right, Manning. Even if they did answer, we couldn't hear them through that squalling.
Do you want me to give it a try, sir?
No, Corbett, you'd just be wasting your time. The radiation from that Nova explosion has built up a static barrier. There's no hope of contacting our advanced base.
Well, how long will that static keep up, sir?
Anywhere from 2 to 5 weeks, Astro.
Great galaxy, Captain. We can't wait that long. Without supplies, we'll starve to death. Roger's right, sir.
Easy does it, men. I've developed the habit of eating just like the rest of you.
Oh, sorry, Captain.
It's all right, Corbett. Let's check over the facts. First, we won't get another supply drone for a month. Advanced Base Omega has orders to send supplies on a monthly schedule, and they have no way of knowing that last drone didn't reach us.
Well, what happened to it, anyway?
I can make a pretty good guess. The Nova explosion blasted a lot of radiation energy out into space, enough to alter the drone's guiding instruments by as much as half a degree.
Half a degree? Uh-oh. That means our beefsteaks are flying through space 1,000,000 miles away from here.
At least that.
Just think, the water, the fruit, the chocolate bars.
And the pork chops. Ah, stop it, you guys. I'm hungry enough already.
Well, there's only one thing left to do. We'll have to blast off and try to reach our advanced base.
It'll be suicide to try, Astro. Even if we had enough supplies to see us through that long trip, we probably couldn't rely on our instruments now.
Then we're done for. You said it, Tom. They can check this expedition off the list just like the other 4.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Attention all spacemen. Take advantage of this special offer, the greatest offer ever made by Kellogg's Pep. It's your opportunity to get official Space Cadet goggles. That's right, official Space Cadet goggles. The same kind of goggles worn by Tom Corbett out in the farthest reaches of space. Listen to the official description of space goggles issued by Space Academy Supply Headquarters. Space goggles are made out of one sweeping curved plastic plate. In shape, they're scientifically streamlined to fit securely over both eyes. Space goggles provide for a full range of vision and may be worn over regular eyeglasses. Space goggles are tinted to reduce glare. Now, spacemen, that's what you get. You want to wear your goggles any time you're racing into the wind, on skates, on a bike, in a car. You want to wear them in your own Space Cadet adventures, just like Tom Corbett does. Wear them to protect your eyes when you're working with tools. Well, there are dozens of uses for space goggles, so get yours now. Here's how. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. Repeat. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address to Kellogg's, Box 302, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 302, Battle Creek, Michigan. Don't delay. Send for your space goggles today.
While on an exploration trip to Object Del Port, a strange planet outside our solar system, the Polaris crew finds itself marooned when a Nova explosion prevents their robot supply ship from reaching them. Due to a radiation barrier, they cannot contact their advanced base millions of miles away in space. Without water and lacking supplies, there is no hope of making the return trip. In desperation, they decide to make a closer survey of the planet from the Polaris.
Any luck yet, Corbett?
No, sir. I'm getting a lot of interference on the scanner. Can't we move down into the atmosphere more?
Right. We'll descend to about 15 miles. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Power deck, aye.
Cut to minimum cruising speed, Astro. We're taking her down into heavy atmosphere.
Aye, sir.
Captain Strong.
What is it, Corbett?
Look here in the scanner. I can't be sure yet, but it looks almost like great galaxies. That's a lake, a beautiful
Don't start drooling, Manning. It could be a mirage.
The image is starting to clear now, sir. It is a lake, a big one, too.
More like an inland sea, really.
And look at that region on the far shore. See there, between the lake and that mountain range? Trees. By Jupiter.
Heavy vegetation of some kind, certainly. Manning.
Yes, sir?
Alter course to set down on that shore. This may be the spot we've been looking for.
Will
you look at that. Real trees with fruit on them.
Plenty of water, too. Why, this is paradise.
And feel how warm it is. Almost like the tropics back on Earth.
It makes me real homesick. Reminds me of Venus, without the rain.
By the galaxies, all this place needs is a couple of beautiful girls and grass skirts.
Knock it off, men. Here's the testing rig. Let's see whether this lake water is safe to drink.
I sure hope so. My throat feels like the inside of a rocket tube.
Oh, here, Captain. I'll give you a hand with that rig.
Thanks, Tom. Yep. Carry it over to the shoreline.
Right.
Where are you going, Manning?
I've got my own test. It's the gulp and swallow method.
Don't touch that water until I give the word.
I don't care if it's sulfuric acid. I've got
Manning.
it. Yes, sir.
All right, Corbett. Set the equipment down here.
There you are.
Now, I'll pour it in here. Like this.
It smells good, Captain. Nothing breakish about it.
We'll have to make certain there's no arsenic in it, though. Now, watch the chemical reaction.
Nothing's happened yet.
Give it a few more seconds.
This is agony.
What do you think, sir?
Results are still negative. I guess it's all right.
Let me at it.
Hey, take it easy, Roger. Leave some for the rest of us.
Go on, Jethead. There's a whole lake full. So I'll try to leave a couple of drops for you.
I guess I better take them now. Jupiter, that's good.
Now, take it easy now, fellas. Not too much at a time.
Best water I ever tasted.
When I can't drink anymore, I'm going for a swim.
Hey, Roger. Where are you going?
Just to take a closer look at those trees.
Well, don't get out of sight, Manning. I want everybody to stay together until we've had a chance to check our bearings.
Okay, sir. I won't go far.
Well, that's one problem solved, Captain. We won't die of thirst.
And what about food, though? The survival rations won't last much longer, and I'm as hungry as a bear right now.
The fruit on those trees looks mighty tempting.
It could be deadly poison, Corbett. We'll have to test it, and that won't be as easy as checking water.
I wonder if there's any kind of animal life here.
There should be. The conditions seem ideal.
I'm looking at something right now that's walking on four legs.
Where, Astro?
Down the shoreline, there to your left. About half a mile down.
I see it.
Well, it's some kind of animal, all right. It seems to be about the size of a fox or a small dog.
And look, he's drinking from the lake.
I've got him within range of my gun, Captain. Shall I let him have it?
No, not yet.
But, sir, that's meat on the table.
We can't be sure, Astro.
Well, the fruit isn't poison to that animal. Look, he's gone back to the edge of the wood and he's eating from that vine.
Perhaps we can eat it, too. But before we take a single mouthful, I want to test that fruit thoroughly.
Say, where did Roger go? He's out of sight.
What? And after I specifically told him not to.
I'll call him, sir. Hey, Roger!
Steady your arrows, Junior. I'm coming.
There he is, coming out of that grove.
What's he carrying?
Blamed if I know, sir. Where you been?
Sir, he's eating something.
That's right, you Venusianate. Here, have some. This fruit's delicious.
Manning, get that out of your mouth at once.
Well, why, sir? I never tasted anything as good in all my life.
Don't argue. Get it out, I said.
Yes, sir. But I made sure it was all right, sir.
If you don't mind telling me, how did you do that?
Why, I saw an animal eat some of it back there. You know yourself, an animal won't touch anything poisonous.
Manning, we don't know what kind of chemical makeup that animal has. For all we know, it could take strychnine for dessert.
Well, you don't mean it, Captain.
I certainly do. Won't you ever learn?
Oh.
All right now, Manning, no harm done. I made you get rid of that piece of fruit before you swallowed it.
Yeah. You did. That piece.
What do you mean?
I ate 7 of those things before I came out of the grove.
7?
Yes, sir. I was just working on the 8th when you stopped me.
My gosh, if that stuff is poison.
Come on, get him back to the ship.
But, sir, by the time we get there, it'll be too late for an antidote.
We'll do everything we can for you, Manning.
Well, Captain, how can we give him an antidote when we don't know the nature of the poison?
There's nothing we can do for him, Corbett. Nothing but wait and trust to luck.
How long has it been now, Captain Strong?
3 hours since he ate the fruit, Corbett.
How does he look to you, sir?
Well, his color seems all right, Astro. His pulse is slow, but not dangerously so.
Breathing seems okay. If he'd only come out of that coma.
Huh? What's that?
Roger!
Somebody in a coma?
Wait, Manning, don't try to get up yet.
Why not, sir? I feel like stretching my legs a little.
But you've been in a coma for 3 hours, Roger.
Oh, me? Why, you Venusian worrywart. Can a guy even log a little sack time without getting cried over?
You mean you were sleeping?
Sure. Who wouldn't need a siesta after eating 8 pieces of fruit the size of melons?
Well, then you feel perfectly all right, Manning?
Why, I never felt better in my life, sir. Except for one thing.
What's that, Roger?
Well, I'm a little hungry. I think I'll gather me some more of that fruit.
There, that's
does it. One more clamp over here on the side, and our space hut's all ready.
Can I put away the tools now, Tom?
Sure. Well, this ought to be very comfortable.
You know, Tom, if we'd known we were going to land in a tropical paradise, we could have brought along some of those old-fashioned shelters made out of canvas.
Things they used to call tents, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Those pegs and ropes must have been a lot of trouble. There's no place like a good, tight, prefab magnesium space hut. How about it, Astro? You ready for a little exploration trip?
You bet. I wonder if this planet has any inhabitants.
Well, I doubt it. We'd have seen some signs of life before now.
Oh, not necessarily if it's a primitive society.
Hiya, Space Rats. Where have you been, Roger?
Taking a dip in the lake, and what a swim. This place beats the beach at Venusport any day. Hey, where's the skipper?
Over at the ship, taking some instrument readings.
I see the hut's up. Is this my gear?
That's right. Just sorted out for inspection.
Hey, wait a minute. What's the idea of all this stuff?
You know the regulations, Roger. Exploration parties keep full spacesuits at hand at all times.
But that's silly. In this climate, we need spacesuits like a rocket blast in the head.
Don't you ever stop trying to buck rules, Roger?
Most rules don't make sense. Now, what's the use of cluttering up our camp with junk?
What are you complaining about now, Manny?
Oh, why, nothing tapping strong. We were just shooting space gas. And...
Hey, what's that?
Sounded like an explosion somewhere.
Quiet, boys. Listen.
There it goes again.
That sounds like trouble. Big trouble.
Hey, Captain, take a look at the shoreline.
What a tide this lake must have.
Tide? Great galaxy, that's no tide.
I'll say it isn't. The water's receded 1,000 yards.
Oh, what's going on, Captain?
It's a tidal wave. Listen.
Those rumbles. They must have come from earthquakes under the water.
Captain Strong, look.
It's a huge wall of water. And it's coming this way.
Quick, run for the ship.
It's too late, Manning. We'd never make it.
Well, what can we do, sir? In another minute, that wave will hit us.
It's coming at us like a fleet of rockets.
There's no way out of this. When that wall of water hits us, we're dead.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
When Tom Corbett and his crew blast off into space, every man on board makes sure he carries a set of official Space Cadet goggles. Every cadet wears space goggles as protection out in space. Well, now, you can get these very same space goggles. Whether you're working with tools, racing on a bike or skates, or blasting off into outer space, you want to have official space goggles with you every minute. Here's Tom Corbett to tell you more about official Space Cadet goggles.
Spaceman, the most important thing about space goggles is to send for them right away. The sooner you send in, the sooner you'll get them. You know, these aren't ordinary goggles. Space goggles are made of one sweeping curved piece of clear-colored plastic, like a giant bubble that fits right over your eyes. I've been down to Space Academy Supply headquarters, and they've got space goggles all ready to send out as soon as you let them know where to send them. So get going, spaceman. Send for your space goggles today.
And here's what you do. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. Repeat. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address to Kellogg's, Box 302, Battle Creek, Michigan. That's Kellogg's, Box 302, Battle Creek, Michigan. You've got your instructions, spaceman. Send for your official Space Cadet goggles today.
Marooned on a strange planet in a distant solar system, the crew of the Polaris finds a tropical paradise on the shore of a huge inland sea. But as they set up camp, they are horrified to find themselves in the path of a gigantic tidal wave, whose towering wall of raging water thunders toward them.
We're trapped! That water will cut us to pieces!
Corbett, the spacesuit.
What's that, sir?
All of you, quick! Get into your spacesuit.
You heard the Captain, Astro. Get your spacesuit on.
We'll never make it. There isn't time.
Hurry it up. Manning, where's your helmet?
I've got it.
Make sure everything is airtight.
There. My helmet's secure.
Mine, too.
All right, now. Take your auxiliary oxygen supply and release it inside your suits.
We'll blow up like balloons, sir.
Like life rafts, you mean? Hurry, Roger.
Pressure of about 2 atmospheres will be safe. That's it.
The water. It's almost on top of us.
We'll all take a real smash when it hits. Just try to relax, and eventually you'll bob to the surface again.
Here it comes!
Look out!
Can you see me?
Wait! Yes, I see you, Astro.
I can just make out your helmet bobbing on the surface.
Have any of the others come up yet?
I can't see them if they have.
Hold it. There's someone. Is that you, Roger?
Captain Strong here, Corbett.
I'm over this way, fellas.
Say, that means we've all come through it.
The water's starting to recede, sir.
Now watch out for driftwood. The water is full of it.
You're telling me I just ducked a log as big as the Polaris.
Hey, help! Help!
Astro, what's wrong?
My suit, it's sprung a leak. I'm shipping water.
Quick, get out of that suit before you go under.
I can't reach the fasteners. I'm going under.
Astro, hang on. I'm trying to reach you.
Can you make it, Corbett? You're closest to him.
I think so. Yes. I've got a hold of his helmet now. But I can't pull him to the surface.
Undo the helmet. Get him out of his suit.
I'm trying, sir. Wait, I'm getting it now. There, I'm pulling out of it. Go on, Astro. Now don't struggle out. Keep your head above water. Is he all right, Tom? I don't know. He's out cold.
The leaks are sore. The water's backed up. There's a chance we can make it. Keep up the artificial respiration, Corbett. He's beginning to stir.
Hear that, sir? He's coming around all right.
Astro, can you hear me?
He's opening his eyes.
I'm okay, Tom.
Boy, you had us worried.
Are you sure you're all right, Astro?
Yes, sir. It looks like I tried the same thing I accused Roger of doing.
What's that?
Drinking all the water in the lake.
Well, don't worry, Astro. There's plenty of it left.
If you're squared away now, we'd better get back and see what's left of our ship.
The Polaris. I almost forgot about her. I sure hope she's still there.
Things look pretty bad, boys. It's going to take a lot of work to put this ship back in shape.
Well, we better get started on it, sir.
Well, the rocket engines are in fair shape. I just inspected them.
The hull's okay, too. Mostly it's electrical equipment that was damaged. If only we had a bigger supply of spare parts. Too bad we never located the wrecks of those 4 other ships that were sent here. If we could find them, I'll bet we could salvage most of the parts we need.
We have no way of knowing if those other ships actually landed on this planet, Manning. The authorities are inclined to believe none of them made it.
Well, I'm not so sure of that, sir.
What do you mean, Corbett?
Just take a look through this forward scanner.
Oh, but
Wait, I see it. It's smoke, a spiral of smoke far out.
Probably a volcano. We've had everything else. That's no volcano.
Hand me that viewscope, Manning.
Here, sir.
Thanks.
What do you make of it, sir?
By the moons of Jupiter.
What is it, Captain?
That smoke is rising from a chimney. The chimney of a crudely built hut.
Wow.
And there's more than one of them. There's a colony out there.
Well, and we found them. We've located one of the earlier expeditions.
That we have.
Hooray!
Well, no matter what happens now, we can call our own expedition a success. A complete success.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the Polaris crew searches for castaways but finds murder lurking in the limestone caves of the planet Del Port, in Part 2 of Marooned with Death. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast are Jan Merlin, Al Markham, and Edward Bryce. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Blake speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes, both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's because Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
About the United Nations? Anxious about those bills piling up? Want to get away from it all?
CBS offers you Escape.
You are the victim of a native witch doctor, pursued from the west coast of Africa to the west end of London by the grinning face of a dead man. You are under the curse of a Porrah Man.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson and carefully plotted to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the dark lowlands of West Africa and the mind of a man who scoffed at native magic, as H.G. Wells paints it in his gripping story, Pollock and the Porrah Man.
I had spent considerable time in Africa, but I have given little credence to the many superstitions of the natives there. Voodoo curses, weird incantations of witch doctors and the like had always seemed a pretty silly business to me. But that was before the affair of Pollock and the Porrah Man. Even then, while the thing was happening, I took little notice. It was only when I got back to England some months later and went to see Pollock climbing up the 3 flights of stairs to his lonely bedroom that I began to realize the ghastly truth of it. One look at him was enough. I had never before seen a man so unnaturally wasted, so prematurely aged and broken, so eerily mad as this man lying on the bed and looking up at me with haggard eyes.
It was good of you to come, Waterhouse.
Nonsense, old chap. I just thought I'd look you up and say hello. But I had no idea I would find you ill.
Ill? Yes, I suppose I am ill. I suppose that's what you'd call it.
But what in heaven's name is the matter, Pollock?
I say, come closer, will you? I can barely see you.
Why, yes, of course. I'll just drop a chair and...
Oh, no.
Oh, Pollock, man, what's the matter?
Oh, no. Take it away. Take it away.
What are you talking about? What is it, man?
That thing in your hand. Take it away, please, for heaven's sake. Take it away.
In my hand? But Pollock, this is only my hat.
Your hat?
Why, yes, of course. Just an ordinary black Homburg. Now, if its style is offensive to
you...
you...
No, I'd just put it on the table, the floor. Somewhere where I can't see it, please.
Of course, old man.
Yes, I suppose you think I'm mad.
Now, don't be.
I know you do. Everybody does. Because I'm used to it now. And the worst of it is... perhaps I am.
I say, Pollock.
Only I don't think so. Because I do see it. I don't care if no one else does. I can see it.
Well, see what?
The head. That hideous face following me everywhere, grinning at me. And always upside down.
Pollock, what are you talking about?
You don't believe me either. Well, look at my wrist. It's broken. The bandage is still on it. That's real enough, isn't it?
Well, yes, of course. Broken, you say?
Yes. It did that. And my other accident, when I first got back to England, they said I walked in front of a bus, but I know better. It did that, too.
A head?
Exactly. You wouldn't expect to see a man's head come rolling down the middle of a busy street in London, now, would you?
Now, Pollock, you'd better lie back, rest a bit. I'll call a doctor.
Oh, you too.
And I thought you might understand. After all, you were with me when it started. It was you who first warned me, who sent me home.
You don't mean that business with the Porrah Man?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. You remember how it started? We were camped at that little village on the lagoon behind the Turner Peninsula. It was swampy and hot, and I was bored to tears. Maybe that's why I did it. But anyway, when I got back, you were furious with me.
No, you're a fool, Pollock. You've got to take it back immediately, do you hear?
Oh, what possible difference could it make, Waterhouse? Why all this fuss, old boy? It's only a little wooden statue. Can't be worth anything except for a curio.
You're not that stupid, Pollock. You know very well this is a Porrah idol. You must have stolen it from the hut of a witch doctor.
Well, and what of?
Don't you see? To them, this is sacred. As sacred as an altar cross to a Christian. You've not only committed a crime in their eyes, but a terrible sacrilege as well.
Oh, don't tell me they're going to stick their painted gods on me. Oh, I should be frightened to death.
Well, before they can do anything, you're going to take this back where you found it and apologize to the Porrah Man.
Apologize to an illiterate black witch man? Are you crazy?
Pollock, I've had about as much of you as I can stand. You're one of those infernal fools who think a black man isn't a human being. I can't turn my back, but you're running crossways to them, getting you some scrape or other. The third time this month, and this time it's serious.
Are you telling me you're going to send me home?
I honestly think it would be best.
As a matter of fact, I'm all for it. I'd be very happy to get out of this sticky, dirty, godforsaken place.
Very well. But before you go, Pollock, for the good of the expedition, you've got to take that thing back and apologize.
Oh, I don't think I'd better.
Why not?
Well, to tell the truth, I don't think they'd give me a chance to apologize.
All right. Tell me, what happened?
Oh, nothing very much, except... Well, as I was carrying the thing away, one of those chaps popped up and saw it. Started yelling, trying to take it from me.
Yes, go on.
Well, we had a bit of a tussle. I got away.
Go on, Pollock.
We were on the bank of the river, and I toppled him over, that's all.
He fell into the river?
Yes, I think he may have hit the rocks first.
Was he badly hurt?
I don't know. I didn't stop to find out.
He was dead, wasn't he?
I really don't know.
Oh, you fool.
Oh, it was an accident. I had no
An
intention.
accident, a lot they care. It was bad enough with the idol, but you've probably killed a man. We're in for it now.
Well, there's nothing to be frightened about.
Nothing. In the first place, I should think even your conscience would suffer a little. The second, you don't seem to understand about this Porrah business. It rules the country. It's the law, religion, medicine, everything. And these Porrah are the most vindictive men on earth. The one whose idol you stole and whose follower you killed will be duty-bound to do something about it. And there's no telling what he will do.
Oh, come now. You don't believe in these voodoo curses and things?
Of course not. I'm thinking of something much more real than that.
I mean, you might try something rough.
I can only advise you to lie low until we can get you out of here in the morning. I'll take you as far as Sulima and see you safe aboard a steamer.
You needn't. I can go alone from here.
Not far. You still don't understand this business. You wouldn't get a quarter of a mile from this camp alone.
I still thought you were making a mountain out of a molehill, Waterhouse. But I must admit, I didn't sleep much that night. I lay there on the mat in my hut and listened to the sounds of the village. And then later to the noises of the night-wakening jungle. Sometime after midnight, I must have dozed off because I awoke with a start. For a moment, I was confused, but I sensed something wrong. And then, framed against the moonlight square of the door, I saw a hand upraised, and in it, a knife.
Stop it! Stop or I'll shoot! Stop, you devil, you! Pollock, what is it? What happened?
I missed the beggar, Waterhouse. I missed him.
Who missed who? What happened?
The Porrah Man. Waterhouse, he was in my hut. He had a knife. He tried to kill me.
Now, wait a minute. Wait till I find a light. There. Are you all right, man?
Oh, I'm all right. I just saw it in time. I rode aside and... Look.
Eh?
In my bed. The knife.
Oh, that was a narrow one. Well, perhaps now you understand the seriousness of this.
Waterhouse, I saw his face. He stopped just at the door for a second. He was crouched down and he looked back at me from under his arm. His face was etched clearly in the moonlight. It was upside down. I'll never forget it.
I'll get you a drink.
Listen, Waterhouse, listen. He glared back at me with his painted face upside down and squeaked with those hideous scars they cut in their cheeks. I see that in my dreams.
Steady on, old man. Here you are. Drink this.
All right. Waterhouse. The idol's gone. I've just noticed the idol's gone. He took it. It's gone.
Yes.
Well, then it's all over. He got what he wants. He won't bother me again, will he?
I'm afraid there's more to it than that.
But he's got the blasted idol back, and he won't try it again. Oh, will he?
I've just noticed something too, Pollock. There's something here on the floor. One of your shots clipped off the tip of his little finger. It's too bad you aren't a better shot.
Well, why? Why'd you say that?
Because I'm afraid we haven't seen the last of this business yet.
You were more right than you knew, Waterhouse. The next morning was only the beginning. We were standing by the river and supervising packing.
I'm glad we're getting out of here. There's something brewing, or things wouldn't be so quiet.
Oh, what would be brewing?
A stink in the copper pot, probably. Dancing in a circle of skulls, putting curses on you.
Oh, that. What can he do?
How the devil should I know? They're versatile people. We know a lot of rum dodgers. The best thing to do... Look out! Oh, man, that was
What was it?
One of their beastly poisoned arrows in the tree behind you. Missed your head by inches.
No.
It came from over there in the bush.
Well, let's do something. Let's chase him something.
No use now. Never find him in there. Best thing for us to do is to get out of here quick.
Well, we got out all right. You remember how we went down the river, keeping as far from the banks as possible? You thought I was safe when you got me to Salima and said goodbye, didn't you, Waterhouse? So did I. You said goodbye and went back to the interior. Nothing happened for 2 days, and I was beginning to feel that the whole thing was just a nasty dream. And then as I was walking in the compound, I was hit in the arm with a slug. It was a long shot. The bullet was spent. I only got a flesh wound. But I knew he was there. And I decided to confide in Pereira, the little Portuguese who had rented me a hut in his compound. He took it seriously.
It is a personal question, you know. It's revenge, see? And he must hurry because you are leaving the country.
Yes, I'll be on the boat to Freetown in 3 more days. Then I'll be rid of him forever.
Perhaps. Then there's this magic. Of course, I don't believe in it. Superstition. But still, it's not nice to think that wherever you are, there's a black man spends a moonlight night, sometimes dancing around a fire to send you bad dreams. You have any bad dreams?
Well, there. Keep seeing the beggar's head upside down, grinning at me, showing all his teeth the way he did in the hut. Now, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's not pleasant either.
Then they say Porrah Men send snakes. You seen any snakes lately?
Well, only one. I killed one this morning on the floor under my hammock. Almost stepped on him when I got up.
Of course, it is coincidence. Still, I would keep eyes open. Then there is the pains in the legs and arms.
thought they were caused by miasma.
Oh, probably they are. When did they begin?
Why, 3 nights ago, the night... Oh, blast it, it's nonsense. If I could just meet this devil face to face, with a gun in my hand...
You might shoot him, but then he might shoot you. I think he do not want to kill you. Anyway, not yet. Their idea is scare and worry a man with their spells and narrow misses and pains and bad dreams and all that until he's sick of life. Of course, it's all talk, see? You must not worry about it.
Oh, no, of course not.
But I wonder what he'll be up to next.
Perhaps it is I who should be up to something.
What do you mean?
Never mind. But I'm not one to just sit and take this. That very afternoon, I had a conversation with a roughneck Mendai tribesman I found there in Salima. He showed me a little iron dagger and demonstrated how one struck at the back of the neck. He agreed to do the job for the price of a double-barrel gun with an ornamental lock. I went back to Pereira's, feeling better than I had in days. That night, the Portuguese and I were sitting in his living room playing cards, when suddenly the Mendai rough strolled in without so much as a knock.
Who is it? What do you want?
Oh, it's you.
Have done what you tell me. Have proof.
What is it you have in the package? Is that blood dripping?
Proof. Here.
His head. Oh, no.
This man you want. No, I get gone.
You didn't have to bring this. I didn't ask for such proof.
You mean, Senor Pollock, you got him killed? You did not kill him yourself?
Why should I?
But he will not be able to take it off now.
What do you mean, take it off?
Look at the cards. They are all spoiled with this blood.
What do you mean, take what off?
You must send me a new pack from Freetown. You can't buy them there.
Take what off?
It is only a superstition. I forgot. The natives say if the witch... he was a witch. But it is all rubbish.
Go on.
Well, they say you must make the Porrah Man take the curse off or kill him yourself. It is very silly.
Gun? No. Yes.
I'll make it 2 guns if you'll take that beastly thing away.
No. 1 gun. No.
All right. Freya, that gun you have for sale, give it to him. I have the money right here.
Yes. Over here. Now, take it and go.
Thanks.
It is funny how the head sits upside down.
Just the way I saw him that night. Just the way I see him in my dreams.
Like it was weighted that way. You will take him with you when you go. Maybe take him now. My cards are all spoiled. There is a man sells them in Freetown. You should have killed him yourself.
Stop it! I took the thing to my hut, and no matter what I did, it always came to rest upside down and glaring at me. I got a shovel. I buried it in the soft earth behind the hut. But in the middle of the night, I was awakened by some sound in my room.
Oh, what is it? Who's there? Speak up or I'll shoot.
A dog. Only a dog. Yes, it's only a dog. But in the morning, when I awoke and started to get out of bed, there it was, in the center of the floor, glaring at me upside down. It was uncanny until I remembered the dog. I found his paw prints in the dug-up earth outside, and I knew how it got there. I took the thing down to the river. I threw it as far as I could into the current. At last I'd be rid of it. That morning, I Late in the afternoon, the little steamer arrived that would take me away from this insane land of the Pharaoh and Freetown and civilization. I had almost begun to feel gay as that boat carried me swiftly away from the shores of the foreign land. At last I would be free, and soon I'd be back where Porrah and curses and nightmares would be forgotten. I was standing at the rail, sighing with relief, when the captain of the steamer, whom I'd met before, strolled up and began to make conversation. After the usual exchange of pleasantries, he said,
I picked up a rum curio on the beach this go. It's a thing I never saw done this side of India before.
Why is that, sir?
The head of one of these Porrah chaps, all ornamented with knife cuts. What? I say, what's the matter, old chap? You're green in the face. I wouldn't have took you for a bad sailor.
Oh, I'm quite all right.
Well, this head I was telling you about is a bit queer in a way. I've got it in a jar of spirits in my cabin, and I'm hanged if it don't float upside down.
What?
Here, I say, old chap, what's the matter? Stuart!
That was the last straw, I suppose. Something seemed to snap in my brain. And for the rest of the voyage, I lay there in the bunk, staring at the ceiling. And I had the strange sensation that the boat was made of glass, transparent, and that I could see up through the ceiling into the captain's cabin, see the Porrah man's face floating in a jar of alcohol upside down, grinning at me. I suppose the actual head is still in the captain's cabin in Freetown, but it didn't matter. The Porrah man's work had been done by then, because now I carried it with me everywhere. In my brain. I saw it everywhere, anywhere. Any object that was round like a hat or a pillar or a vase suddenly developed features when I looked at it. Ugly, scarred features with a grinning, mocking mouth. Features turned upside down. When I docked in London, I went straight to my banker's office in Cornhill.
And the security is all in order, Mr. Pollock. You shall have to watch things, of course, but all in all, you shall have enough to live quite comfortably and to enjoy a reasonable amount of freedom. Then, too... I say, Pollock, what are you staring at so fixedly?
That thing. Hanging from your mantelpiece.
Oh, yes, I see. The potted fern. Rather pretty one, isn't it?
Oh, yes, very pretty.
I must do something about it, though. It's always dripping water down on the fender of the fireplace. Makes it rusty.
I was wondering about that. It looks red, almost like blood.
Rust, you know.
Yes. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Can you recommend a physician for mental troubles? I've got a little, what do you call it? Hallucination. The Porrah man grinned at me fiendishly, and I stared back at him. The banker watched me very curiously for a moment, and then he gave me the address of a doctor, and I left his office. That's when my accident happened. To a man who's been many months in the jungle of busy London streets, confusing enough. But when a head comes rolling down the middle of the street, and between your legs... No! I was in the hospital for weeks. The only permanent injury, however, was the loss of the tip of my little finger. By strange coincidence, the same fingertip of the left hand that I'd shot off the Porrah man that first night. Well, even in the hospital, the Porrah man was with me all the time, everywhere. The doctors couldn't help me. My friends couldn't either. So I tried cycling in the country. But that thing kept rolling along beside me and getting tangled up in the wheels and spilling me. That's how I got the broken wrist. Well, the worst came only last week. I'd just come back from a long walk, hoping to be tired enough to go to sleep. And As usual, that bronze vase was over there in front of the big French window. And it... Well, perhaps the poor man enjoys the view of the street 3 floors below. Anyway, this night, I felt a little devil-may-care, so I turned round to it and I looked him in the eye and I said, "So, you're still here, are you, my ugly shadow?"
Yes, Pollock. I'm still here.
What did you say?
I said I'm still here. And I always will be.
No, not that too, not that, no. No. So, now you understand, Waterhouse? I not only see the poor man, I hear him, too.
Pollock, old chap, this is frightful.
Oh, it is rather, isn't it?
I mean, you are ill, man, very ill. Now, surely there's something someone can do, some doctor.
What can any doctor do? Can he take off the poor man's curse?
Now, Pollock, that's nonsense. And you know it.
Oh, is it?
Of course, man. It's all in your mind. All, what do they call it? Suggestion. The power of suggestion is strong. You're impressionable. You've let these stories prey on your mind, and you've got to snap out of it.
Oh, I should have killed him myself.
Pollock.
I'd do it, too, with my bare hands, if only I had the chance.
Man, you're talking rot.
Look at him there. Look at him grinning at me.
Pollock, that's only a bronze vase.
Always grinning at me, more and more fiendishly every day. Stop it, you devil, stop it, you hear?
Pollock, calm yourself. Lie back. Rest.
Rest. Yes. That's what I need.
If I'd only known, I'd never have left you there in Sulima alone. All this might have been prevented.
Yeah, might it? Listen, Waterhouse. When you came in, I was just lying here thinking, I see him, I hear him, my sense of sight and of hearing is affected. And someday my sense of touch will go too. When it does, I know that will be the end. I'll be finished. And the poor man will finally have his revenge. Won't he?
Pollock, old man.
When you came in, I was lying here, trying to get up the nerve to walk over there and make the test. And I'm going to do it.
No, I won't let you.
You can't stop me, Waterhouse. Don't you see? I've got to. I can't go on like this. I've got to know. Have it over with.
No, Pollock.
It's beyond anything you can do. Stand aside. But stand aside, please. Now.
Come back to bed, Pollock. That window is open. If you have a...
Never mind. This is just an ordinary bronze vase. Isn't it, Waterhouse?
Pollock, don't do it.
I know it's only a bronze vase. I know that when I will feel only cold metal when I reach out and touch it. I know. Like this. Oh, no!
Pollock, look out! That window! You're backing into that window! Pollock!
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you Pollock and the Porrah Man by H.G. Wells, adapted for radio by John Dunkel, with Barton Yarborough as Pollock, Louis Van Rooten as Waterhouse, and Bill Conrad as Perea. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week...
You are groping through the darkened corridors of a gigantic department store in the dead of night. And suddenly you realize you're not alone. That 100 eyes are glaring at you from the shadows. 100 hands reaching for your throat.
Next week, Escape with John Collier's eerie story, Evening Primrose. Good night, then, until this same time next week when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot roastin' present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are bound securely in a robot ship headed toward Terra and controlled by Prince Baccarati from his castle on Planet X.
I can't move, sir. Even without the paralyzer ray, the straps could hold us. Keep struggling, Happy.
Lunar Defense Squadron 12 Space Patrol, a private cruiser, NPC-307, Neptune Registry. Acknowledge.
He's calling this ship.
We have information that Prince Baccarati is aboard. Surrender immediately.
I can only get loose to reach that spacer-phone.
Major Robertson to Baccarati. Acknowledge or we'll fire.
Oh, if we could only let him know that we're aboard. He's fighting half. Hey, they're firing at us.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Escape from Planet X. All right, step right up, test your strength, test your swing, ring the bell, and win a prize. Hi, gang, this is Captain Dick Dufeld.
And Space Patroller Bill O'Connell.
We're having a whale of a time today at the Terra State Fair. My pal here says he's going to ring that bell and win the prize.
You bet I am, Captain Dufeld.
All right, there he goes. He's raising the mallet over his head. Up it goes. Down it comes. Man, oh man, oh man. Just listen to that bell ring. What power and strength. Hey, Space Patroller, how'd you get all that get up and go?
Supercharged, that's me. I had my bite-sized checks today.
Now, Space Patrollers, how about you? Did you start off this morning with a big bowl full of rice checks or wheat checks? Those super cereals that help to supercharge you? Bite-sized wheat checks. Rich, hearty shredded wheat. Chock full of flavor, minerals, and energy vitamins. Yes, and no other cereal, flaked or puffed, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. That's why Commander Corey made rice checks and wheat checks official cereals of the Space Patrol. So, gang, tomorrow morning and every morning, be a real Space Patroller. Power up with an energy-packed bowl full of rice checks and wheat checks. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Escape from Planet X. The power-mad Prince Baccarati is now in the hands of Commander Corey. The man who sought to overthrow the United Planet is a captive on the remote Planet X, and the very prison camp where he had forced 130 abducted men into slave labor in the Arctite mines. As Cadet Happy assists Space Patrol officers preparing to evacuate Baccarati's former captives to their home planet, Commander Corey questions the self-styled prince in the labor camp office shack.
You might as well tell the truth, Baccarati. How many United Planet citizens are you holding in other parts of Planet X?
Surely, Commander. You know how many men and women are missing from the solar system?
Yes, but I want to know how many are on this planet right now. I want them all released.
Look, Corey, you have only 2 spaceships here. In less than an hour, Malengo will have alerted a squadron of my ships at the castle. They can easily prevent you from blasting off.
Your men aren't going to risk destroying you. And Malengo knows that you're in custody.
Remember, my forces are still in control at Planet X. You and your men will never leave here unless you release me.
The only thing delaying our blast off is a last-minute search for those 2 men who escaped from your prison camp just before our ships arrived. The minute they're rescued, I'm giving the order to blast off, and you're coming with us.
And they won't be found so easily, sir. A lot could happen to them in the Valley of Dread.
Whether we find them dead or alive, they'll still be witnesses against you.
Excuse me, Commander.
Yes, Hop, what is it?
Those 2 men who escaped have been found, sir.
Are they all right?
It's pretty fair, sir. They recognized our space patrol ships and came back to camp under their own power.
Good. And that accounts for all of Baccarati's captives, all 130 of them.
Yes, sir, except that the last tally shows 131.
Well, that's one more than we're supposed to have.
Space Sergeant Deckens is sure the count is correct, sir.
Well, I'll check on it later. How's the evacuation proceeding?
Well, very good, sir. Most of the sick men are aboard ship number 1, and Baccarati's guards are locked up in number 2.
I'll order a complete search of the camp to see that none of Baccarati's men are hiding. And we'll put Baccarati aboard and blast off with Terra. Meanwhile, we'll just lock His Highness in this room so he won't be disturbed.
Both ships are loaded, Commander.
Oh, fine, Happy. We can blast off as soon as we put Baccarati aboard.
I'll sure be glad to get off this planet. It's ugly enough ordinarily, but look at those clouds.
Storm is moving in from the east. Well, we'll be gone in 5 minutes. When we get Baccarati on Terra, we can give him a brainograph test. We might find a weak point in his defenses at the castle. And at the same time, how many prisoners he has on planet Earth.
Well, a couple of the older men don't agree with that last tally, sir. They said they privately kept tab on their fellow prisoners, and, well, there were just 130.
Sergeant Deckens is very reliable. If he counted 131, there must be 100. Happy, come on, hurry.
Oh, what is it, sir?
Get to the office building quickly. It just occurred to me where that extra man came from.
Commander, look.
I was afraid of that. The door's been forced open.
Uncle Rocket, Baccarati's gone. How did he get out of that room?
Look at the lock. It was smashed from this side.
Yeah, but who...
That extra man. One of Baccarati's guards managed to slip in with the evacuees.
He must be somewhere in the camp. If we hurry, we can catch him.
Into the yard, quickly.
There's Baccarati's atmosphere ship. Maybe they headed for that.
I don't think so. He knows it's the first place we'd look. We'll never be able to blast off with our ships here.
Then they must be outside the camp, heading toward the mountains. With a dozen men from our ships, we could overtake them.
Now, the important thing right now is to get these ships off Planet X before Baccarati's outlaws show up.
I hate to let him go when we finally had our hands on him.
I know how you feel, Happy, but the ships are in real danger now. Chances are Baccarati had the foresight to grab a miniature spacer plane when he got loose. He can tip off Malengo that he's no longer a prisoner.
Yeah, and the whole squadron can tear after our ships without worrying about hurting Baccarati.
I'm giving the order for our ship to blast off immediately. You and I'll stay here in Planet X and search for Baccarati.
A few moments later, 2 men scramble through the thick brush on the steep side of the mountain near the prison camp. One of the men is in the ragged, faded red uniform of the prison workers. The other is Prince Baccarati, his gaudy tunic torn by the brambles.
All right, Orca. Let's stop.
Suits me. I'm winded.
We'll rest a minute while I contact Malengo. Then we'll move on. Send me that miniature space plane.
Yes, Your Highness.
Oh, by the way, that was very clever of you, Orca, mingling with the prisoners in the hospital check. You will be rewarded when we return to the castle.
Thank you, Your Highness. What's that?
That was one of Corey's ship blasting off. I suppose he decided not to risk losing both ships by keeping them here while he looked for me.
Yeah. There goes another one.
I might have known it.
No, what?
That Corey would think of the safety of his man. Yes, and perhaps of his own safety, too. He knows he couldn't fight off my ship, so he blasted off.
Yes, but he'll be back.
We'll be ready for him when he returns. We'll have that warning tower back in operation, and if a space patrol ship comes within 1,000,000 deals of this planet, we'll blast it to atoms.
Your Highness, how are your men going to find us in this storm?
Before we run, we can go back to the prison camp. My atmosphere ship is there.
Yes, but Corey probably put it out of commission before he blasted off.
Probably. But at least we'll be out of this storm. Come on, old top. Let's head down the mountain.
As the storm builds in violence, Buzz and Happy stand in the darkened office shack, looking out the window toward Baccarati's small, sleek atmosphere ship. An occasional flash of lightning brings every inch of the prison yard into full brilliance.
Ship's got away all right. Well, they must have, Happy. There's no way Malengo could have detected them on this side of the planet. All right, let's go. Run for the ship. Yes, sir.
Wow, what a blast. It's a regular hurricane. Keep your head down. Buck the wind. Up the ladder into the ship. Close it, Happy.
There's a light switch. Oh, I got it. Anyway, for a minute there, I thought the wind was going to blow me clear out of the stockade. Planet X. Even the weather is terrible. Yeah, it's a break for us. We can circle over this whole area without being seen or heard. And when Baccarati signals to a ship, we'll know where he is. Well, can we fight off a whole fleet of Baccarati ships in this little atmosphere job? We won't have to, Hank. Chances are only one of the ships will land to pick up Baccarati. They won't be expecting any company. Yeah, and the fact that this is Baccarati's own ship is going to throw them off guard when they do see it. We're going to have to work fast and hope that our luck goes out. All right, Hank, let's get this ship airborne. Yes, sir.
Stay right where you are, gentlemen. I got a flux gun on you. Get your hands up, Corey. Work up. Take their weapons.
Yes, Your Highness. Oh, Baccarati and the missing guard.
Get the guard hat. Corey! I warned you. I got Corey Orca. Break away from the cadet. Sure. Oh.
That sure sent him spinning, Your Highness.
Drag them back aft and lug them out. I'll notify Malengo to prepare a cell for them in the dungeon of my castle.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
This is Dick Shufeld speaking from Edwards Air Force Base, Muroc, California. I've got an interesting story for you this morning about one of the most unusual-looking planes in the sky today, the XS-92A, designed by Convair Aircraft, San Diego. Now, in just a second, I'm going to introduce you to the Air Force test pilot on that plane, Major Chuck Yeager, the first man to fly faster than the speed of sound. He's standing beside me right now. But first, I'd like to tell you a few things about the XS-92A. It looks exactly like a triangle. It's often called the flying triangle. Wings are swept back at a severe angle, 60 degrees. Now, top speed of this Air Force interceptor is about 700 miles an hour. Surface ceiling is over 45,000 feet. You know, it takes some doing to test fly a ship like that. You need energy and plenty of it. And to face the risk involved, you need steady nerves. Now let's hear what a real test pilot has to say about it. Meet Chuck Yeager.
Let me tell you what it takes to be a test pilot. To start with, I have to be in good condition. That means get plenty of rest, plenty of exercise, good food at every meal. For breakfast, I like a cereal that really tastes good and has plenty of energy.
You like Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, eh, Chuck? Well, no other cereal, puffs or flakes, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So, gang, do as famous test pilots do. Pick your cereal for flavor and energy. Today, get Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And now back to Escape from Planet X. Believing that Prince Baccarati was hiding in the mountains near his slave labor camp, Commander Corey and Cadet Hattie boarded Baccarati's atmosphere ship. Buzz had counted on the violent storm raging in this part of Planet X to conceal the ship and enable them to recapture the crafty prince. But Baccarati and his guard had returned to the camp, thinking Buzz had left with the evacuees and the space patrol ships. Just as Buzz and Hattie were about to blast off, Baccarati and his guard stepped out and overpowered the two space patrolmen with a flux gun. Right now, Buzz and Hattie are in a cell in the dungeon of Baccarati's castle on the opposite side of Planet X. The prince punched them through the bars.
Ah, the great commendatory. Oh, I hate to tear myself away.
Don't let us detain you, Baccarati.
Oh, you're very kind. Perhaps you'd like to know where I am going. I am going to Terra. I'll go in ordinary clothes as a businessman from Neptune. I'll arrive in a private cruiser with a Neptune registry.
Aren't you afraid your noble bearing will give you away?
Not at all, Commander. The Space Patrol is certain that I'm here on Planet X, trying to avoid being captured. They will be making plans to sneak back here and get you off the planet. The last thing they would suspect is that Prince Baccarati would dare to show up in the capital of the United Planets.
You may have a point there.
Yes, and I have agents on the other side.
All the time they're working on my plan to overthrow the government, preparing the way for my return to the solar system as a supreme ruler.
Oh?
You didn't know that, did you?
I suspected it.
I think this is the time to confer with them and to make arrangements for certain materials and supplies to be brought here to Planet X. I see that you figure out the texture district.
What makes you so sure you won't?
Because you are here in my castle as a hostage. In case I am caught, your safety will be the terms of my release. Well, goodbye, Commander. Agent, I tell you.
And the Space Patrol hasn't the faintest idea who they are.
Oh, can Dr. Lottie get away with it? Go to Terra?
He's bold enough. I didn't expect it.
And here we are, locked up in this dungeon.
Yeah. Something shiny out there in the corridor. See it through the bar?
Oh, this one. Oh, it looks like a key.
Thought I heard him tell the key just like Dr. Lottie left the window.
But they could reach that key.
Don't know one's watching her.
Just gotta reach. God, it might as well be back on Baccarotti's belt.
Hey, wait a minute. Take off your belt, quickly.
Yes, sir.
Put the buckle out there toward the key. Maybe you could hook it and drag it over to the door.
All right, sir. Here it goes.
Be careful. Don't knock it farther away.
Over the key, sir.
Pull it slow.
It's coming. Yeah. Now I can get it with my hand. Here you are, sir.
Well, let's hope it's the right key. If I can reach around to the lock. It's hard to turn. You can't get any leverage. That did it.
We're free.
We're still in the castle. Our best bet is to try to locate a space patrol and tip off the space patrol that Baccarotti's on his way. Come on.
Cautiously, Buzz and Happy make their way down the dungeon corridor. Two guards, joking together at a turn in the passage, fail to notice the two space patrolmen as they creep up the stairs to the next level. Carefully, Buzz tries door after door. Then, finally, he finds what he's searching for, a storeroom full of electronics equipment. Swiftly, with Happy's aid, the commander adjusts the dials of a spaceophone to the secret Space Patrol frequency and turns on the transmitter.
If this set reaches as far as the space station outside the Pluto orbit, we're in luck. Emergency. Commander Corey on Planet X, calling all Space Patrol units. Corey to all Space Patrol units. Emergency.
Space Station 3, Pluto orbit, Commander Corey. Your signal's very weak, Commander.
Now listen carefully. I can't repeat this message. Prince Baccarotti is preparing to fly to Terra in a private space cruiser of Neptune Registry. He will pose as a legitimate businessman. Alert all units to intercept him outside the perimeter of his Planet X defenses. Take him alive if possible. Hurry up.
I shouldn't have any trouble picking up Baccarotti.
No, there won't be any other ships coming from the direction of Planet X. Now, half our next problem is to get back to our cell without being seen.
Back to the cell?
Yeah. Baccarotti mustn't know that we've had a chance to tip off the space patrol. Easy now, you're going to find.
We carefully retrace their steps, and at last reach the dungeon level under the castle. A moment later, they're in the cell with the door locked.
We'll hide the key somewhere in the cell, Happy, in case we need to use it again.
Yes, sir.
I made it just in time. Somebody's coming. They're looking for his car.
I got good news for you, gentlemen. I know. You got a toothache. That was unkind, Cadet. You should be grateful to me. Come on, you're leaving Planet X.
We are? Where are you taking us?
I am putting you in a robot ship and sending you toward Terra.
Well, at last you're showing some sense, Baccarotti.
Yes, I know. Oh, incidentally, you can keep that key you found on the floor. As you see, I have a duplicate. Key? Yeah. The key with which you unlocked your cell. By the way, I overheard your conversation on the space patrol. You found the equipment sooner than I expected.
So you planted the key there, dropped it on purpose.
That's right. Just far enough out of reach to look accidental, but near enough so that you would use your famous ingenuity and recovery.
I don't get it. So why would you want us to tip off the space patrol about your trip to Chile?
Because Baccarati had no intention of going to Chile.
That's right, Commander. It's too bad you didn't figure that out sooner. And the space patrol challenges a certain private cruiser with Neptune registry and receives no answer. They will start firing on it. You will be helpless, unable to call up your men. And in their eagerness to get Prince Baccarati, the space patrol will destroy their own commander-in-chief.
A few moments later, Buzz and Happy are strapped securely in the control cabin of the robot space cruiser. As an added precaution, Prince Baccarati gives them each a blast with a paralyzer ray, then returns to the tower of his castle to regulate the remote control equipment of the robot ship.
Can you talk?
I can't move. Even without that paralyzer ray, these straps will hold us.
I'm sure isn't taking any chances.
Here we go. Blasting the ship off by remote control from the castle.
Are you comfortable, gentlemen? Oh, don't bother to answer because I can't hear you. It's fortunate. I don't think your remarks could be complimentary.
He's right, Mr. Murat.
I'll give you something to think about, Commander, on your final journey. Shortly after your space patrol men blast to the pit, there will be another tragedy in another part of space.
What are you talking about, Frank?
The space patrol base on planet Neptune will be destroyed by another robot ship, loaded with high explosives.
He wouldn't do that.
The robot will appear to be an innocent supply ship, with you out of space, Commander, and the Neptune base destroyed. I'll have taken the first major step in my plan to rule the solar system. Goodbye, Commander. On we are.
Commander, you can't be serious.
I'm afraid he is.
Yeah, but what good would it do him to wipe out the Neptune base?
Baccarati's no ordinary criminal, Hap. Remember, Neptune is Baccarati's home planet, the one his family ruled for centuries.
Yeah, until the people booted them out and joined the United Planet.
And Baccarati's warped mind, Neptune is his personal property. Destroying our space patrol installation there would delight his ego.
Yeah, but it would make everybody in the United Planet so mad they'd insist on wiping out Baccarati's Planet X.
With his defenses, that's impossible at present. You have the people of 10 planets full of helpless fear and panic. That's Baccarati's greatest weapon. Fear would force millions of people to surrender to save their lives and their homes.
There's nothing we can do about it. Can't even move. Where are we now, Commander?
I can't tell from here, but we should be well outside the Planet X defense and warning system.
I think the paralyzer ray is beginning to wear off. I can move my fingers a little.
We'll have to do better than that, Hap.
Lunar Defense Squadron 12 Space Patrol to Private Cruiser NPC-307 Neptune Registry. Acknowledged.
Who's calling this ship?
Major Robertson, commanding Squadron 12. We have information that Prince Baccarati is aboard Private Cruiser NPC-307, now on Cadet from Planet X.
If I could only get to that space phone.
Keep working, Hap.
Major Robertson to Baccarati. Acknowledge or we'll fire.
Any luck, Hap?
Oh, no.
You've got to get loose.
Hey, he's firing at us.
We placed that missile across your nose to show we mean business, Baccarati. We know you're aboard because Commander Corey told us. You have 10 seconds to surrender or the next missile will hit you amidship.
I wish Major Robertson wouldn't be so conscientious. Just this once.
If he hits us, we may never know he got us instead of Baccarati. Keep straining on those straps, Happy.
Yes, sir.
5 seconds, Baccarati.
5 seconds. Commander, you did it.
No, Baccarati didn't shut off his transmitter. Major Robertson, hold your fire.
You surrendering, Baccarati?
Robbie, this is Commander Corey. Baccarati's not aboard. He's on Planet X.
Man? Big fools, Centurion. That was about... Attention, all units. Stand by for further orders.
Robbie, we've got to work fast. Order one of your ships to join airlocks with this robot.
Yes, sir.
After Happy and I are clear of this ship, destroy it. I want Baccarati to think his plan succeeded.
Right, sir.
When this ship is destroyed, return to your base. I'll take over the rest of your ship and proceed to the Neptune orbit. Hurry out.
Meantime, back in the tower of his castle on Planet X, Prince Baccarati turns to the guard, Orcutt, and smirks with satisfaction.
Did you see that, Orcutt? Did you see what happened to those instruments?
I don't know much about this kind of thing, Your Highness. There's remote controls and viewscope screen.
The instruments fluttered and returned to zero. That means the robot ship is destroyed. And with it, Commander Corey.
And the Space Patrol got it.
Yes, just as I planned. Now, let's see if this controls the other robot.
When we're going to blow up the Neptune base with.
Exactly. Watch the tiny dot on the screen. That's the ship approaching Neptune. In a few minutes, the Neptune base will be tight.
I picked up something in the viewscope screen, sir.
A supply ship?
I think so, sir. Yeah, that's what it is, all right.
Check its course.
Yes, sir.
Got to be sure it's the right one.
It's headed straight to the Neptune base, sir.
From what direction?
He's tracing it back. It came from 34 degrees off Pluto, which would indicate it came from Planet X.
And all regular ships in order to avoid this sector. So that's the one we're after.
It's on a collision course, sir, and increasing acceleration.
Stand by to fire cosmic missiles.
Standing by, sir.
Put on automatic target selector.
It's closing in on zero, sir. Number one missile fired, sir. Now, if Baccarati doesn't have any trick device to throw off our guided missile...
We'll know in a couple of seconds.
Wow, we got it.
Think what would have happened if that robot had hit Neptune.
The base would have been wiped clear off the planet. As it is, I'll bet it'll rain fragments for a week.
Fortunately, none of them will be big enough to do any damage.
Boy, this is going to be a big disappointment to Prince Baccarati.
Yes. Just the way to get his mind off this setback.
How, sir?
We'll give him something new to worry about. Right away.
A preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Hi, Space Patrollers, it's football time on the planet Terra. The Terra High Terrors versus the Jumpin' Jupiters. And today the Terrors are really running up the yardage. There they go, over the goal line again. Another touchdown for the Terrors. Yes, sir, they're supercharged all the way. They had their bite-sized checks today. Now, gang, how about you? If you want to be able to block and tackle and kick like a football hero, you have to get on the ball and stay on the ball every day. That means you need a power-packed, bite-sized Chex breakfast every morning. A big bowl full of rich, crisp, terrific-tasting rice Chex or wheat Chex. Those super cereals that help to supercharge you. Both have that modern bite-sized design for super easy eating, and both make swell between meal snacks, because both taste just as good right out of the box. So, Space Patrollers, to run up lots of yardage on the gridiron, to be the big star of your team, start right in tomorrow. Just have yourself a power breakfast with rice Chex or wheat Chex. No other cereal, flaked or puffed, gives you so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So, power up with those Space Patrol cereals, rice Chex, wheat Chex. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are at the Saturn City spaceport, following a man they believe to be a cousin of Prince Baccarati.
Vincent, all right, sir. From the back, he looks just like Baccarati.
Keep in the shadow of this freight loading platform, Happy. Come on, let's close in. Just a minute, Benson.
Yes?
Step over here into the light.
Anything to oblige, Corey.
Commander, it's Prince Baccarati.
Get him, Happy.
All right, Malenko, use your ray gun.
Look out, Hap! Look out, Commander!
That does it, Malenko. Get them aboard the ship, and we'll give them a one-way trip to Planet X.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Spies from Planet X, when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey, and Glenn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovacs, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.